Transcorp Hilton Abuja as well.
Transcorp Hilton, yeah, sure.
That's
With
an
pleasure.
open invitation right there. You better take it seriously. Yes. And Chibola, where are you? Are you at home today?
Okay, I'm at home,
Okay,
yeah.
she.
I'm in the UK. I'll put
Oh,
on
you're
my
in the UK. Okay.
once I
Yes.
sit down.
Nice, nice. Oh, okay. It's looking like we are live. Hey, everyone. Okay, how are you doing? We are so sorry that we started a bit late today. Unfortunately, these things do happen, and I'm sure that you do know that they do happen. And we're here and we're live, and it's going to be a fantastic time. My name is Uloma, and it's important that I introduce myself first. I am the founder and CEO of Century Culture. It's a Canada-based organizational culture firm, and we are also in Nigeria, so we kind of do work in both countries. And we are also organizational architects, culture architects and customer experience strategists. And people refer to me as a speaker, author, and creator because I have what I call in training, I call it the dramatic impact methodology, where we make sure that everyone training that we do is experiential and all that. So basically, we are dramatists, we're very active people, and we try to bring that to everything that we do. So I'm reaching you today from Toronto in Canada, and it's a beautiful day here. Those of you who know what the weather is like in Canada, it was a long winter, so we're very happy to be enjoying a really brilliant summer. It's actually hotter here than Nigeria sometimes. I mean, I check the temperature when I wake up in the morning, and we're like 27, and Lagos is like 25, and I'm like, oh my goodness, So it's beautiful. It's a great weather that we have here today, and so that's fueling my energy. So when she called me to do this, she said, "Uloma, I want you to just put some energy behind everything that we're doing today." And I'm like, "You don't have to say more, sister. I got it, and you're gonna get so much of that today." Ladies and a few gentlemen, we have the honor of being in the presence of so many fantastic women here today. I was just saying that the energy alone in the room here, it can power Nigeria, because every one person here is a firebrand in whatever it is that they do. And I'll get to introduce them very soon as we carry on. Some of them will be in the panels, and some of them will just be talking to you off script if need be. And then yeah, another thing is that the network also in this crowd can, get Nigeria out of it. So that's what we're going to try and keep. We're going to try and make sure that everybody enjoys the best of everyone who's here today. And a lot of the discussions that we'll be doing will make sure that you get to know everybody a lot better. So why are we here? What are we doing here this lovely Saturday afternoon instead of being someplace else, a wedding or something? Here because we're here to celebrate somebody. And we're here to celebrate a concept. We're here to celebrate an epoch event, I would say, because we're about to talk about, launch, and learn, from one of the masters of our time. And I want to make it clear that we have been invited to an event that was called a virtual book launch and a women's career fair. But it is so much more than a book launch. What we're going to be seeing today is a gathering of ambitious African women committed to building meaningful careers, expanding their influence, and leaving a legacy that extends far beyond their professional titles. And trust me, that is exactly what the panel is looking like. I know some of the people here from the way that I've interacted with them in the past, and of the other people that I haven't met, I have heard about. So everything that we have been promised is actually true, and it shall be happening very, very quickly. Now, because we started late, I'm going to try my best to try and catch up on time. And so we will start very quickly with are we queued in? If we are, I want them to be ready with the opening video, which I shall be asking you to show soon. Or have you shown that already? Because we can't really see that. Okay, okay. I expect that that has been shown. Okay, so welcome everyone. Okay, I'm trying to make sure that I can see both places at the same time. Can I be heard? Let me be sure that I haven't been talking to myself.
Yes, we can hear
Yes,
you,
I can hear.
Noma.
Excellent, excellent. Okay, so I think what we should do now is really just introduce our host. A lot of us don't know. There's actually nothing playing in my background. Okay, I will just introduce our host. She is, and a lot of you already know her personally.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, I'm not sure what's going on. Oh dear. Terribly, terribly sorry for that break. There was a bit of interference and I had to find out where it was coming from. And so I had to stop. So I'm so sorry about that. So let's carry on very quickly. I was just about to introduce our host, and she is somebody that we all know very, very well. Chinyere Okorocha is an accomplished intellectual property and medical legal lawyer in the law firm Jackson, Etty, and Edu. She's an executive career coach, author, that's why you're here, and mentor with over 3 decades of professional experience. She is the founder of the Heels and Ladders Career Mentorship Club, and she'll be telling us a lot about that later on today, where she empowers mid to senior level female professionals to accelerate their careers through mentorship, leadership development, and practical career strategies. You know, I was actually stopped once at an oil firm that I was doing some work at, and a lady walked up to me and said, "Oh my goodness, you look like somebody that I follow on Instagram." And I was like, "Really? Who's this person?" And she said, "Oh, one lady, one lawyer. Her name is Chinyere Okorocha." And I was like, "Oh my goodness, my Chinyere, my own Chinyere is like, you know, people are now mistaking me for her." And, you know, so she is quite a celebrity, and especially with young lawyers, because this particular girl was actually in the legal department of that oil company. And so she has been following everything that she has been doing, especially with the Heels and Ladders Career Mentorship Program. And so she is also the author of Heels and Ladders, a career acceleration handbook for female professionals, widely recognized for her expertise in law and her passion for developing leaders. And she is committed to helping women rise with confidence, with purpose, and with lasting impact. That is a very, very little summary of the plenty that Chinyere is. And those of you who are here, I'm sure you have felt the energy that comes from Chi whenever you meet with her. I have the singular privilege, if you want, of having known her, I'm sure, a lot longer than a lot of you who are here. Chi and I were pen pals, you know, in those days. When we used to write each other, she was in Federal Onitsha and I was in Federal Owerri, and we used to write each other letters, you know, to keep in touch. And I know that half the people here have no idea what I'm talking about. Cynthia, I'm sure you've never heard about pen pals.
I have. Come on.
Oh, you have? Maybe in storybooks. But, you know, before the days of emails and all that, that used to be the way of reaching each other. So that was our way of communicating. That was our way of supporting ourselves. That was a way of, you know, transmitting, you know, new ideas to each other. And that is one of the things that she has kept. She has kept that culture of supporting people, of pushing people forward, of recognizing what other people do not recognize. And, you know, and that, I think, has culminated in one of the things that we're celebrating today, which is the book that she has written. So the writing culture never left her, I guess. The pen pal thing has now become her authoring a book that is I mean, I don't know about you guys, but this book, you can't put it down. You can't put it down when you start. And it's, anyway, we'll talk about the book later. And of course, we also know that she is a fantastic multitasker. I can tell you that for free because she is a wife to my own uncle. And she is also the mother to Natasha, to Brian, and to Nicole. And I don't know anybody else that keeps it all together and juggles everything as well as she does. Because in addition to all that, she is a dear friend to a lot of people and keeps that friendship going. So ladies and gentlemen, I just want us to applaud this woman of honor, this woman who is a woman of purpose, this woman of God, this woman that makes a lot of us so happy that we know her. We're so happy that she's in our lives, and we are blessed, you know, by this thing, this book, you know, that she has decided to bless all of us with. I don't know about you guys, but I started that book and I couldn't go past chapter 1 in the first instance because I needed to do the study. I actually sat down and started doing the study, and that kept me so engaged that I didn't even look at the rest of the book. And I looked at the rest of the book later and I was like, you know what? This is a textbook that's going to keep me busy until the end of maybe 2027, because it's not a book that you read in a hurry. So, here we are very, very grateful that you are here, that you invited us, and that you have put an event like this together so that we can all get to hear about all those other things that are not in the book that also form a large part of who you are. You're very, very welcome. Okay. Are you going to get to say something or should I just carry on? All right. Okay, so we're bringing Chi in right now, and she's going to do a welcome, just a brief welcome address, and then we will introduce Her Excellency. Okay, Chi?
Is finally here. Heels
Okay,
and
those of us
Ladders
on
Live.
this chat who can't really, you have to be on
Heels
YouTube to
and
see Chi.
Ladders Live. I am so excited and I want to welcome each and every one of you to this distinguished occasion. So it is indeed the virtual launch of my book. Yes? Okay, they put on music for me. Can you hear it? Can you hear it? If you can hear me, let me see it in the chat. I can see all your messages. Let me know. I'm coming out. Can you see me? Yes. Okay. Awesome. All right. So, welcome, 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 everybody. Selling first book, Heels and Ladders, a career acceleration handbook for female professionals. As you all know, women wear heels, so the heels refer to women. And of course, the ladder is the career ladder. The career ladder that can sometimes be so difficult to climb. You have to be careful, especially if you're wearing heels. You need to make sure you don't fall. Put one foot carefully in front of the other. Hold the banister if you need to. And indeed, I'm hoping that at the end of today, you'll actually be able to reach your hand to the top of the ladder and another woman will pull you up. Because it's all about sisters helping sisters. And when one woman rises, we all rise together. So once again, I want to welcome you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for spending this afternoon with us. I'm sure they're going to bring me on later today to explain exactly why I wrote the book and the history behind the book. So I just need you to stay tuned. I want to say a huge thank you to the First Lady of my state, Imo State, for being here today, giving up her time. That is Barrister, Her Excellency Barrister Chioma Uzodimma. I'm going to introduce her properly in a minute. I also want to say a huge thank you to our keynote speaker, the infatigable Mrs. Bola Adeshola. Thank you for being here. I want to say a huge thank you to all the speakers today. I shall not mention you one by one because I will do so later on today. But I am ever so grateful to each and every one of you. Everybody, the team, the Heels and Ladders team, give me a shout out in the chat if you're on the Heels and Ladders team. wife of the Executive Governor of Imo State, Her Excellency, Chief Barrister Chioma D. Uzodimma. Yes, I can see all those hearts and those greetings. She deserves they give her flowers. Her Excellency is the wife of the Executive Governor of Imo State, and her marriage is blessed with children. A distinguished legal practitioner, yes! She was called to the Nigerian bar, and she also holds an LLM degree also from Imo State University, and with a professional experience across several leading firms in Nigeria before her present standing. As First Lady, she drives impactful social interventions through the Good Hope Women Flourish initiative. Please give her a round of applause. I see those hands. Please keep them going. Yes, her initiative, the GHWFI, it focuses on women's empowerment, healthcare, education, and indeed support for vulnerable groups. Her Excellency currently serves as the chairperson of First Ladies Against Cancer. She's the chair of the Partnership Resource Mobilization and Financing Committee under the National Cancer Control Plan in Nigeria. She's also the chair of the Subcommittee on Monitoring and Evaluation of the National Task Force on Cervical Cancer Elimination. She's also the secretary of the Renewed Hope Initiative, which is a pet project of our First Lady of Nigeria, Her Excellency Senator Oluremi Tinubu, CON. Oh my goodness, should I go on? Finally, this is a very, very short profile. In recognition of her contributions to humanitarian advocacy and women-focused development initiatives, she's received several honors and recognitions, including Doctor of Public Administration, honoris causa, and she remains dedicated to advancing social change, empowering women, and improving lives across Nigeria. I can think of no better person to be here with us today to open this event and to give us a few opening remarks. Your Excellency, please, you have the floor. Welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Ms. Okorocha. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, accomplished women leaders, professionals, and emerging talents, good evening and welcome. Our time is fast spent, so I'll just jump right into it. The most transformative thing one woman can do for another is to show her the way and to hold the door open. And that is precisely what today represents. When a woman documents her journey, distills her hard-won wisdom, and offers it to others still finding their footing, she does not simply write a book, she builds a bridge. And when she gathers a community of women around that bridge, she builds a movement. I am delighted to deliver these opening remarks at the Hills and Ladders Women's Career Conference. And I congratulate the founder of the Hills and Ladders Career Mentorship Club, Mrs. Chinyere Okorocha, for convening this timely and necessary gathering of women committed to their own advancement and to the advancement of those coming behind them. Today's program has been crafted with purpose, culminating in the official public launch of Hills and Ladders, a career acceleration handbook for female professionals, a practical compass for every woman navigating the terrain of professional life. Rising for women has never been straightforward. It has required twice the preparation, twice the resilience, and often the quiet determination to continue when the structures around us were not designed with us in mind. yet women rise. We always have. And what this conference offers is something rarer, a space where rising is no longer accidental but intentional. My work through the Good Hope Women Flourish initiative is anchored in this conviction that women do not need sympathy. They need strategy, community, and access. And today's program offers all three. And I encourage every participant to engage fully, act boldly, and leave with more than they have arrived with. It is now my honor to declare the Hills and Ladders Women's Career Conference officially open. May every session sharpen your vision, every conversation strengthen your resolve, and may today unlock futures that have waited long enough. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. That was so beautiful. You know, what she said about what women should be getting now, you know, community, opportunity, and access. That's exactly what it's about. You know, it just reminds me of that age-old thing about, you know, don't give people fish, teach them to fish, you know, because that's what makes them able to have a sustainable life and career. So thank you so much for that. Thank you so much. Now, mama be this way. Now, mama be this way. Now, mama be this way. You know, this is now the song for any well-meaning politician that is out there. You know, but you know what I was thinking when Her Excellency was talking? I was like, why hasn't somebody thought about having a beauty pageant for first ladies? She'll probably beat everybody hands down. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for doing this for us. I'm going to very quickly call on our keynote speaker, who we have kept a lot longer than she planned to be. So I'm going to try my best to introduce her very quickly. I insist on an introduction for various reasons, including the fact that I actually have a personal relationship with her that I think is something that I want to also mention. You know, we served in the Executive Council of the Lagos Business School, Pan-African University, way back in 2016. And I need to tell you guys something. I used to be so starstruck. You know, I had never heard about her before then. And then I meet this woman who is so able. You know, when you just meet somebody who is just able, you know, I don't even know which other word to use and describe what I'm saying. You know, then she was the CEO at Standard Chartered Bank. And she was the president of the Executive Council of Lagos Business School at the time. And it was like professionalism at its best. If you wanted to understand what life and work balance looked like, she had it all, you know? So I want to use the opportunity to say thank you, because you were a major motivation to me and the life and career that I designed and, you know, developed after my time with you. But for the purpose of this meeting, it's important that I tell you guys that Mrs. Bola Adeshola is the chairman at EcoBank Nigeria Limited. She's a distinguished banker, corporate board leader, and former senior vice chairman, Africa, at Standard Chartered Bank. She serves on the boards of several leading organizations, including the Healthcare Federation of Nigeria, Guinness Nigeria PLC, and the Currency Exchange TCX Netherlands. She is also co-founder of WIMBIZ, who I'm sure you guys also know, and internationally recognized advocate for women's leadership, sustainability, and responsible business. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome our keynote speaker for today, Mrs. Bola Adeshola. You're welcome, ma'am.
Thank you very much, Uloma, for that welcome. And I truly appreciate it. I thank you for also recognizing the fact that I hope you can hear me, that we're a little bit
yes,
behind.
we can hear you.
So I will do my best to compress my keynote speech into about 10 to 15 minutes. But before I do that, I'd like to thank Chinyere for the honor of inviting me to deliver the keynote speech this evening. And I also would like to acknowledge all those online, especially people joining from across the world. I have some of my own tribe also joining from different parts of the world. And I believe that even as we join, we're joining from boardrooms, living rooms, whichever room we're in. Most especially the rooms that some of us have built and the rooms in which some of us aspire to build and sit in firmly. But, you know, before I delve into the keynote address, just as Uloma insisted on saying some kind words about me, I would also like to celebrate a woman that I have tremendous respect for. She's a woman of purpose, a woman of vision. She's a woman of great determination, of kindness as well, because it takes kindness to want to share and give people building blocks for the success of their own careers as well. She indeed is a woman of impact as well, a resilient doer. And when I say resilient, I'm here today because of her resilience. I'm at this session today because of that. And she's also a woman who says what she will do and does what she says she will. Ladies and gentlemen, I really want to celebrate Chinyere Okorocha for building something that a lot of women have needed for a long time. A room where we can be honest about our journeys, a room that inspires us, and for building a safe space for authoring a book that is more than another toolkit for women. I actually wrote the foreword to the book, and again, that was a privilege and an honor. And as I said in that foreword, Heels and Ladders is a call to action for women across the world to break barriers and reach new heights in their professional lives. So please, let's show some appreciation for Chinyere and send her claps and all the love emojis that we can find online. So Chinyere, well done. So ladies and gentlemen, because I believe that there are some gentlemen as well watching, I would like to share a few thoughts on the topic that I was given, which is what it really takes for women to rise. In opening, let me first say that I may disappoint a few people because I do not have a universal formula on this topic, as I do not believe that there is one. When people ask me privately how I rose in my career, many times people expect some sort of tick box formula, and you know, I tell them that I have none. But what I do tell them is that my upward mobility over the last almost 40 years has been as a result of purposefulness, intentionality, and people. And within each of those words, purposefulness, intentionality, and people, are some specific strategies that are unique to me, that I have employed and whose principles have guided me at every stage of my life and my career. So for example, the principles under purposefulness include, and these are the questions that I ask myself from time to time: who am I? Where am I going? What am I passionate about? What sort of keeps me awake at night? What is my core? And that's really about making sure that I not only know what my purpose is, but that I reinforce it, you know, along the journey of my career. Within intentionality, I ask myself, for example, how do I achieve that purpose? You know, what does success at every stage look like? Am I in planning stage or execution stage? What skills should I acquire? How and when should I appraise progress? And that's about intentionality in executing according to one's purpose and one's plans. And of course, with people, the questions again include, who do I need on this journey? You know, how do I practice strategic visibility? Which networks should I join? Who should I not be associated with? Because many times we know what we should do or what we want to do, but we don't actually frame what we shouldn't be doing and, you know, who we don't want to be with and so on. So I believe that each woman who asks herself these questions, if she's honest with herself, should craft answers unique to her and to her circumstances. So let me be straightforward with us all this evening. I'm not going to tell you that if you work hard and believe in yourself, the rest takes care of itself, because that's not true. And I believe that every woman who's worked and, you know, who is maybe over the age of 30 already knows it's not true. But no doubt, working hard and believing in yourself are elements required on the road to success. And in fact, religious people would even extend it to, oh, you know, just work hard, believe in yourself, have faith and pray, and you'll be successful. Again, whilst I acknowledge that faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things unseen, and prayer is the master key. But over my decades-long career, I have seen many people mix faith and foolishness together, and then the key gets jammed in the lock. The doors are locked. They're closed behind them, and everyone else but themselves are blamed for their misfortune and lack of career progress. However, it's never too late to start being strategic, nor is it ever too late to make deliberate choices that get us on the road to upward mobility and recognition in our chosen careers. You know, during several periods in my career, I was often the only woman at the table. When I first became CEO in 1999, my board of directors was made up of 9 men, all of them being CEOs of some of the biggest banks in Nigeria at the time. But I did not cower, you know, and be intimidated. Instead, I practiced the principles that I will share with you shortly and which put me in great stead for further and consistent rise in my career. Even now, several decades later, women still find themselves the only female in a management committee meeting. But thankfully, due to the support platforms and networks such as Wimbase, as Uloma mentioned, Whisker and such like, and there are many more. And these didn't exist when some of us started our career in the late 80s or early 90s. These solo situations of being the only woman in the room are becoming rarer. They still exist, but they're becoming rarer. But in my circumstances, I learned that rising is not one thing. It's not talent alone. It's not effort alone. Rather, it's a set of deliberate and strategic choices made consistently and or principles demonstrated over a long period of time. I should mention that some of the choices or principles may be uncomfortable for some of us also at different times in our journey. So this evening, I just want to talk through what some of those choices look like. I would like to make this relatable and experiential, but you know, managing the necessary boundaries of information. The list is not exhaustive, so I will focus on those that I believe will get us on the ladder and accelerate upward ascent to success. So the first one and the entry ticket is competence. It's a qualifier for getting on the short list. It is a sine qua non for being in the room, and it's a core baseline, in my opinion, that combines our knowledge, our skills, and our experience. However, competence alone is not a differentiator in my view. When anybody who is recruiting looks at a bunch of CVs, many of them are identical. So what differentiates one from the other? Or even in assessing colleagues for promotion, other colleagues on the short list are also competent. So how does one differentiate oneself? Let's think about excellence, going that extra and beyond, and I'll illustrate with a couple of examples in a few minutes. Excellence is not negotiable at all in any form. I believe that excellence is a display of self-mastery. It's a continuous pursuit of superlative delivery and a demonstration of deep expertise. And it's not something that is an end unto itself. And here's what professional women don't hear early enough, particularly young professional women, that being good at your job is a minimum requirement to be in the room. It is rarely on its own what gets you promoted, sponsored, or even trusted with the next big role. And I've watched brilliant, meticulous, hardworking women stay in the same seat for years, while similarly competent colleagues have moved past them, because competent was treated as the whole strategy instead of the foundation of one's career. And even when I've tried to nudge them into doing more within the organization, some insist that they're okay doing their work and remaining in the background. I had someone in a bank approach me once and asked me to speak to her CEO because she believed that she'd been doing well at management, meetings. She was always praised. They would clap for her. She was meeting her goals, exceeding her goals, and she believed that she was due for promotion. And I said to her blankly, I said, no, I won't have such a conversation. I said, because what makes you due for promotion? You're being paid for the work that you're supposed to do. You're being paid to exceed your goals. So why should you be promoted? What else are you doing? What more are you doing within the organization? She didn't take it so well, but I thank God that, over the years, she adopted some habits of being more visible, of doing more in the organization, so that she then got promoted. She got given a whole area to manage. And about a year ago, sent me a note that she had actually been put on the board of one of the bank's subsidiaries because of the impact that she had been making over the last 3 to 4 years. So let's do the work, but let's understand that the work alone doesn't advocate for us. Do we challenge? Do we demonstrate the courage even when you have a minority view? Do we pursue continuous knowledge to help us stay ahead? Do we contribute to and elevate strategic projects? You know, someone has to know what you're capable of before the opportunity arises and not after. So rising requires pairing skill and competence with self-advocacy. Competence helps to fuel the confidence to project ourselves, and project we must, which brings me to the second strategic choice that I suggest we consider, and that is strategic visibility. So not just visibility, but strategic visibility. Many of us were raised culturally and professionally to believe that good work speaks for itself, and that drawing attention is somehow immodest, especially women. Some view visibility as being political and doing what we call in Nigeria eye service. I want to challenge that directly this evening. And I'm here talking about wholesome visibility within and outside your organization. So not visibility for visibility's sake, but strategic visibility. In every organization that I've been part of, decisions about who gets stretched, who gets trusted, who gets, the difficult client, or even a turnaround project are made by people who have a picture in their head of who can handle it. If you're not visible in the rooms where that picture gets formed, you simply will not get considered. Not because anyone is against you, because that is what I hear some ladies say, oh, my boss doesn't like me, they're against me. No, it's just because you weren't in that frame. And I tell women time and time again that equating internal strategic visibility with office politics is where they get it wrong. We must learn to communicate our value. It means putting your name on the analysis you did. If you did it, put your name on it. We must demonstrably take credit where appropriate, where work has been done. A very senior female executive, only a few months ago, reached out to me because she felt undervalued, and that if she approached her chairman for a raise commensurate with the value she brings, she might be termed ambitious. So the first question I asked her was, are you ambitious? She said, yes. Then I said, are you ashamed of being ambitious? She said, no. So I said, let's get to work. I said, craft a script and let's discuss it. So I worked with her on a script to aid her discussion with her boss so she could clearly articulate her achievements. I told her to share, and these are things that can be bought, a peer compensation comparison, present her near to midterm plans as she was running the business, and finally ask directly for a raise, linking all the points that, that we had agreed she would put forward. She got what she asked for, including share options if she met certain business targets. So we must always put ourselves forward for visibility beyond our job role. I've done it and I get paid for it and I don't want to seem ambitious, that sort of thing. It doesn't mean self-promotion for its own sake. It means speaking in the meeting instead of after it. Many women will speak after a meeting instead of during the meeting. It means volunteering for the assignment that terrifies you a little, because that is usually the one that gets noticed. And I'll give an example of one of my daughters started work last February. And she asked me what she needed to do to demonstrate that she was ambitious and wanted to learn as she entered corporate America. And I said to her to do 3 things and to be consistent with them. And I said to her, speak up, show up, and stand out. And this young lady ran with my advice. She would do her research and read up before meetings, and therefore could contribute in small ways to the discussion, that's speaking up. She booked time with senior partners and showed up with a keenness to engage and to learn, that's showing up. She stood out by volunteering to organize team lunches, offered to work weekends just to support her boss in the delivery of a client report on Monday. And the outcome of the combined purposefulness, intentionality, and strategic people engagement was that at her first performance review 6 months later in July last year, she was promoted out of cycle and got a raise and an increased bonus. So let's remember that visibility is critical. We should endeavor to build a network before we need one. So they're probably discussing at a promotion meeting, and her name is mentioned. And her boss does not have to struggle to explain why he or she thinks she should be promoted out of cycle. Others would speak for you. One of the things I often tell my mentees is to draw up a stakeholder map of stakeholders who can influence their career, open doors, provide insights, advocate for them, challenge, or, someone whom one can create value for. More like constituting a personal board of directors on paper or on, a spreadsheet. Internal stakeholders could be your boss's boss, gatekeepers like the HR head and so on, people who are internal to the organization. External stakeholders could include key industry leaders, headhunters, who are those that, control boards, that sort of thing, media people, regulators, mentors, and so on. And also emerging talent, because people sometimes think that the stakeholders are just people who are senior to them. So it's also important that the visibility should be upwards and downwards, making sure that we're visible before the stars of tomorrow. And I'll give an example later as to why that's important. And once we've drawn up a stakeholder map, it's important that we strategically connect with and remain visible and memorable in the share of mind of these critical networks. So ladies and gentlemen, visibility is not vanity. It is a very, very important part of a career strategy. So these thoughts on visibility lead me to my next point, which is support structures, critical in one's rise in a career. And the support structures are basically mentorship and sponsorship. And I would like us to know that, and I'm sure most of us on the platform today know that mentorship and sponsorship are not the same. Most women have plenty of the first and almost none of the second. And I won't go into the definitions of both relationships. You can Google that yourself. I'm not here to tell you what you can Google. I'll just summarize quickly. A mentor gives wisdom and perspective, whereas a sponsor uses their own credibility to open a door for you when you're not in the room. A mentor gives you advice over coffee. A sponsor puts your name forward for the board seat, executive role, deal team, and stakes something of their own reputation on you succeeding. I've had both mentors and sponsors in my career, and I can tell you plainly that sponsorship was what changed my trajectory. Someone senior who did not know me decided to spend their political, social, and reputational capital on me. They didn't owe me anything, and some of them do not even know one personally. So it's again sometimes what is heard in the marketplace. And I believe that sponsorship is what moved me from being competent and visible to being competent and considered. Apart from my first job application in the late 80s, every single job move or role then has come to me through a phone call from someone who has noticed me and desired for me to be part of their organization or their team. There were times when people would call me and I had no CV because I wasn't job hunting. I was basically doing my work and following my personal principles and making sure that I was strategically visible and tooting my own horn where necessary. In fact, in a couple of cases, I did find out who the sponsor was. In others, I would merely be told that someone put my name forward. In one case, I was told much later that it was actually a mentee of mine, more junior in her career ladder, that had suggested my name for a board role. And that speaks to what I said earlier about strategic visibility, upward, downward, and impact. So mentorship is essential for ensuring that we're on the right path, we stay on course, we fail forward with support, we plan purposefully, and so on and so forth. As women, we're fortunate to have access to diverse mentorship opportunities and platforms, and even tools like, Heels and Ladders. But we must also choose our mentors wisely. Competence and strategic visibility are what get us noticed internally and externally. It is what earns the opportunity and privilege of being sponsored, because we have to earn that. So on this point, a quick charge to the senior women in particular in this room tonight. We need to go further and beyond being just mentors. Sponsor someone, say her name in the room, when she's not in it. We've climbed the ladder and we need to make it stronger, wider, and more accessible for women coming behind us. When we get speaking engagements or invitations, let's nominate another woman to take up the opportunity so others get visibility. When I do this, people say, yes, but it's you we want. And I say, well, why do you keep recycling us? This young woman, she's a chief executive. She has stories to tell, multiple scars on her back that she can share with younger people. When we get offered roles that are not suited to our aspirations, let's again suggest the name of another woman. We shouldn't just say no. We should book that space and say, you know what, I may not be able to take this up, but give me a day or two and I'll give you a couple of names that you could consider for the role. So please, let us, as we rise, become someone else's ladder. And to the younger women listening, seek mentorship, but work deliberately to earn sponsorship through visible, reliable, high-stakes delivery. Not just about being liked in the office or, your boss doesn't like you. Earn sponsorship. The fourth thing is one that I don't want us to miss out, because I don't believe that is spoken enough about in career conversations, and that is money. That is money. Rising is not only about titles, it's not only about recognition, it's not only about aspiring for the boardroom, it is not only about career empowerment. Ladies, it is also about the wisdom of financial self-empowerment. It is about ownership. It is about financial independence. I have seen very many capable, and I have multiple examples, exceptional women. They've built extraordinary careers, yet remain financially dependent on a single income stream with very little invested, very little owned outrightly, and hardly any cushion at all. Now, there's nothing wrong with single income stream, but what do you do with the income when it comes in? You know, how financially disciplined are we to set aside consistently on a regular basis an amount that, compounding over the years, makes us more comfortable later on in life? I see 55-year-olds, 60-year-olds who will say, hey, it's too late to start. Oh, I didn't buy this, I didn't invest in this. And I would say it's never too late to start. Financial literacy is not and should not be a side interest. It is part of what it takes to rise, because what gives you the freedom to make bold career decisions from a position of strength rather than fear. I know someone who, at the early stage of their career, in their late 20s, decided that by the age of 50, she wanted to be able to choose whether she wanted to work or not, and that she would not stay in a job because of the financial shackles. She would have invested, she would have saved, she would have taken the necessary risks such that she would be able to stay at 50. I am doing what I'm doing because I want to do it. I'm staying in this job because I want to stay in the job, not because I'm afraid that I will not have enough, funds to be able to fuel my lifestyle. I mentioned earlier about the executive who was scared to ask for a deserved pay rise. As women, we need to seek guidance to ensure that we are rewarded adequately and equitably for the value you deliver, because there's no point in rising just for the sake of rising. We need to understand the construct of our compensation, our benefits in cash and kind, perks, and our pension. Please, please, please seek investment advice and be intentional in regular savings and investment, even if modestly. And thankfully today, there are several gender-lens investment opportunities available, which offer guidance and investment opportunities for women. These include Ecobank's Elevate, Smart Money Woman, the Radiant Collective Capital, Gaia Cooperative Scheme. I mean, there's so many. And I encourage us all to explore and see how we can further empower ourselves financially. A woman who has built financial independence negotiates differently. She can walk away from a bad situation differently. She can take risks differently, than one who cannot afford to. So ladies, money matters. Many of us shy away from talking about money, but it matters. In all of the above, competence, visibility, manage money, and so on, how do we stay focused, especially in these VUCA times of geopolitical volatility, economic uncertainty, socio-political complexity, and importantly, ambiguity around the speed and impact of technology in our lives? And this brings me to my fifth and final point, which is about resilience. But I want to talk specifically about resilience in the context of today's topic, which is what it really takes for women to rise. Because this word resilience often gets romanticized. Resilience is not simply enduring hardship gracefully. Resilience is many times romanticized as the duck syndrome, where above water, what is seen is a visible persona of a professional coping peacefully and gracefully with the vicissitudes of life, whilst below water is a hidden reality of the furious paddling, anxiety, exhaustion, and intense effort. Ladies, please, we do not have to be superwomen. In my experience, resilience has looked often like, as an example, being underestimated in a meeting, yet staying focused and making my superior point heard. That's resilience. Being the only woman, maybe on a panel of men, and deciding which comment deserves a response and which doesn't. It's about choices. Making an unpopular but fair decision as an executive and living with the criticism that follows, knowing that I have used the compass which guides my principles to take that decision, and making sure that it doesn't change who I am. Losing a mandate, getting back to work the next morning, and knowing what lessons I learned from failure. To me, that's resilience. It's not about, she went through difficulty, she did this, she did, a lot of times we romanticize it in that sort of manner, but, she holds her head up high. If you have to cry, cry. We all, have done in our careers at some point or the other. There are different ways of ventilating, the tensions and the stress and so on. And nobody's career is a straight line upwards. Mine certainly wasn't. Resilience for me is recover, learn, recalibrate, dust yourself down, and move on. And what separates people who eventually rise from those who don't is not the absence of setbacks, it's how we deal with them. But a point I want us to note here, please, is that as women, we should not be expected to be in a perpetual state of overcoming difficulties, because that is also how we romanticize resilience and managing difficult situations. This is where support and advice are useful. Let us share experiences, as many of us are going to do this evening, so that fewer women trip up on the ladder. We all want to wear heels, but we should also understand the ladder. It has rungs, and each rung is either an opportunity to step up, but if we make a misstep, it could trip us going down. It is how we manage ourselves on those trips to ensure we get back on the ladder to be able to step up. So in closing, ladies, the real point of an evening such as this is to lift as we climb. That's why I gave the earlier charge to the senior women. Rising that stops with you is incomplete. For example, women who came before me in banking, and I will name a few because many times we don't name some of our predecessors who have had to, carry the burden of a lot of the challenges that we have faced, but have been able to manage easier. People like Miss Evelyn Oputu, Chief Mrs. Bola Kuforiji Olubi, Mrs. Funke Oshibodu, Mrs. Cecilia Ibru, Mrs. Mosun Bello Olushoga, late Mrs. Maria Shokenu, and so many others who may not be remembered by name, but they made room for people like me to sit where I sit today. Every one of us in a position of some influence has a professional obligation, not just a personal preference, because some of my colleagues and contemporaries see supporting others as a personal preference. And it's like, well, where do you find the time for all this? I think you find time for things that give you, that you're passionate about. It's important for us to make the path a little shorter for the women coming up behind us. This can be a formal sponsorship, a phone call like I received many times that opened doors for me, or even just telling a younger colleague the truth about how this actually works, the way I hope I've tried to do this evening. So to end my address, what does it really take women to rise? And I summarize. Competence, yes, but treated as the floor, not the ceiling. Visibility, deliberately built strategically. Sponsorship, sought and given, earned. Financial independence, taken seriously early, but never too late to start. Resilience, understood correctly as what you do after the setback, not the absence of one. And finally, a genuine commitment to sending the lift back down. And again, none of this is glamorous, but it's things that we must purposefully consider and do. Much of it also remarkable, repeated, but that's where intentionality comes in. And I'm speaking from my own experience, and I've seen very many women who, once they purposefully and intentionally set about correcting, the pathway to success, they move from where they start to where they're capable of going. So it's a journey, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Wearing our heels, we will strut greater and greater heights. And I thank, online, the tribe of aligned souls that, make the climb a little less lonely for other women. Congratulations, Chinyere, on the launch of Heels and Ladders, and to everyone here this evening for attending and celebrating her. Ladies and gentlemen, enjoy the climb. Thank you very much.
Fantastic, fantastic. Thank you so much. Our keynote speaker, Mrs. Bola Adeshola, this was just fantastic. This is another book in the making, if you ask me, because by the time we really synthesize everything that you said this afternoon, it is value that everybody, every woman, everybody, should actually get a bit of. So thank you very much. Thank you. God bless you. This was just fantastic. All right. So I was going to summarize some of the things that she said, but she did that already, so I don't need to do that anymore. And so I'm sure you guys were taking copious notes. If you weren't, too bad for you. Maybe you ask Chinyere for the recording later, because this was just fantastic. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to move on now. We're going to play the official book trailer video, and then we'll go into our first panel discussion. I hope we're queued for that.
Hello, everybody. I'm Chinyere Okorocha, and I am so excited to introduce you to my new book, Heels and Ladders,
This is an
a
official
career
trailer for
acceleration handbook
Heels and
for
Ladders.
female professionals. You see, this book is a personal roadmap designed to help women like you navigate the challenges we usually face in the professional world and break through the barriers that hold us back. Each chapter of Heels and Ladders begins with a relatable short story that drives home the key message, making it so easy to connect with the lessons to real-life scenarios. I cover critical topics like clarity, personal branding, visibility in the workplace, because being great at your job is only the beginning. People need to see and recognize your value. I dive into the male-female dynamic in the workplace, and I also tackle the issue of female ambition, why it's a good thing and not something you should shy away from. This book is interactive. It's packed with exercises to help you reflect, develop strategies, and take actionable steps to advance your career. It's really a powerful resource, whether you're just starting out in your career or already on your way up the ladder. One of my favorite things about this book is how it encourages you to embrace your ambitions and see them as your greatest strength. You'll also find tips on building your personal brand, the importance of networking, and overcoming the unique challenges women face in a male-dominated career space. So, if you're ready to climb higher and step fully into your power, the Heels and Ladders book is the guide.
Uloma, you're on mute in case you're speaking.
Thank you so much. I was going on and on. All right. I'm so sorry about that, guys. Okay, so thank you very much for that trailer. It has told us a little, but we're still going to get a lot more about the book later, especially in the section that is the book launch itself. But for now, I'm going to set up the first panel for discussions. And the topic for discussion for the first panel is beyond hard work. What really accelerates women's careers? Beyond hard work, what really accelerates women's careers? So I'm going to introduce three powerful women with fantastic experiences in their jobs, and people who have built their careers tirelessly and successfully over the years, who are going to speak to us on some of these things that we're talking about. The first person that I would like to introduce on board is Dr. Chizor Malize, who is the CEO FITC. And I would like us to know that she's an accomplished business leader driving FITC's transformation into a leading innovation and technology-driven knowledge institution. She brings over 2 decades of experience in strategy, business transformation, marketing, and executive consulting. She is an executive coach, board leader, and recipient of the 2024 African Woman of the Year Leadership Award. Please, a round of applause for her. Just send those emojis and welcome her on this section of the program so that we can start talking about these things that accelerate a woman's career success. The second person that I'll introduce, I'll welcome, is Dr. Alex Okoroji, who is the founder and president of G Woman Media. She's an award-winning media entrepreneur, a communication strategist, an author, and creative industry leader. She is the founder of G Woman Media, like I said, and the Bragg Media Company, championing women's voices through media and storytelling. She is internationally recognized for empowering leaders through branding, communication, and authentic self-expression. Ladies, let's welcome Dr. Alex Okoroji, who is going to be the second person on our panel. And the third will be Emily, our own Emily Wale Koya, who is the founder, School of Personal Branding. She is Africa's leading branding strategist, keynote speaker, and author, widely known as the Gucci of personal branding. Hey. She has coached over 100,000 professionals globally to build influential and profitable personal brands. Emily is renowned for helping experts transform their expertise into visibility, influence, and wealth. Please, a resounding applause as we welcome Emily to join Dr. Alex Okoroji and Dr. Chizo Malize. You're all welcome, the three of you. Thank you very much for making it here. I hope you have all unmuted.
Thank you, Loma. Yes, just
Thank
did.
you very much.
Beautiful, beautiful. Such beautiful women. I don't know, there's too much tease going on here. There's too much.
The first lady set it off.
You know what I'm saying? Oh my goodness, she handpicked everybody for this. I know it wasn't just your brains. This is beauty and brains all the way. See Auntie Bola, see everybody shining. Anyway, guys, you're welcome. You're so welcome. And we're about to talk about some really serious things. And I'm going to start very quickly because I want to catch up on time now. Let me start the way I introduced you. I'll start with Dr. Chizo Malize. So hard work alone isn't enough. And I think Mrs. Adeshola also reiterated that point. Now, you've led organizations, advised executives, and coached senior leaders. Looking back on your own journey, what do you believe accelerated your career beyond competence and hard work?
Thank you. Thank you very much. And again, I'll join others because it's worth doing that to congratulate Chinyere Okorocha for the phenomenal work she's done, not just in her career, but penning her career experiences through the voices through her journey, bringing all of these enormous resources into one place to be able to share ideas and thoughts and making me a part of that. It is an opportunity I cherish, and I recognize the impact that she's made across this space, and I'm happy to lend my voice and also share thoughts around that. Thank you also for all that have gone ahead of me. They've done extremely well, and thanks for keeping us super excited and focused, Ulama. Thanks for making this afternoon worth a while. Hard work alone, indeed, is not enough. In my career journey and in my experiences, the biggest thing that has worked for me is value, value, value. Yeah. I hold myself very accountable to producing the best value. And naturally, I'm driven by quality and excellence. So oftentimes, I am focused on ensuring that I go over, beyond, and above. This is an acronym that I hold dearly. It's also an acronym that I share with my mentees. It's also an acronym that I share with the people that work with me, even in the team that I lead today. Normal is not the right thing because, like we have heard today, you're paid to do the work after all. But going over, beyond, and above to produce quality output drive and deliver value would always stand you out. It has
Very true.
accelerated my growth in a way that it stands me out all the time. That leaders, senior leaders would always say, if you really want it done, look for Chizo. And what that did for me specifically is that early in my career, I sat at tables that only senior people sat. I was one of the top 5 people that joined ValueCard Nigeria PLC, if anybody remembers that.
Yes,
it was
I
a
do, actually.
pioneer card company in Nigeria. The youngest and the least in terms of level, working with 5 directors for the longest time until others came around on the journey. Honestly, I worked in a way that, gleaning from the work of top directors, I could also be focused on producing great work.
Excellent.
Another thing that I have seen that keeps you going beyond the work that you produce is relationships. You just have to have the right relationships. And like we have heard today, always ask yourself, who should I speak to? Who can get me there? Who is the bright person? Who do I need? But do not build relationships from a selfish perspective. Again, bring value to the relationships that you build so that people would have reason to pour into you. So pour onto other people so you build goodwill so that you can also have what it takes to earn the goodwill and work with the network that you've built. But please build the right network and be in the right places. Over the course of my career, I have always been a part of WIMBIS as a local institution founded to build and help women climb. But on my journey in WIMBIS, I always started to ask, what can I do? How can I help? How can I support? And all of that. And I rose to become an executive council member of WIMBIS, not just because I showed up, but because I also brought value and made the right interactions with people.
Excellent.
And before I draw on the question so that we can hear others, I have always been driven by purpose. So I am one who is extremely clear about my journey all the time. I am certain about where I want to be at a particular time, and I walk myself towards it. So when in the early career, in that operations that I mentioned, ValueCard, my CEO, Dr. Marino, extremely white, diligent professional who actually was part of the early founders and directors at Lagos Business School, just thought that, Chizo, you're super great with operations, you're extremely great, diligent, and all of that. I had my eye on marketing because I knew, for me, that's where I wanted to be. When it was difficult to get me into marketing, I did what I needed to do. Created my marketing degrees and professionals, did my MBA, specialized in marketing, put it on the table and say, Dr. Marino, I want to go to marketing. Why? Because I knew my vision, I knew where I wanted to go, I knew how I wanted to rise in my career. And so every single thing I did was deliberate and intentional in terms of where I'm growing, how I'm growing, where I'm moving to. So whether you look at the work that I had done, moving into marketing, moving away from marketing into financial services, banking, specializing in branding, setting up my consulting enterprise, which I ran for 10 years as a senior and managing partner, and then, of course, pivoting consistently to where I am today. Is intentionality, is aligned to purpose, is asking myself, where do I want to be? How do I want to get there? And equip myself for the readiness that I require to get there. So that's intentionality. So I pursue with excellence. I build the right network, and I'm focused consistently on my purpose, my vision, my journey, and where I want to go. Thank you.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you so much. In summary, Chizo has reminded us about the importance of value, create value. And she's talked about relationships, which is another thing that Mrs. Adeshola also really harped on. And then the last thing is that intentionality about your purpose. And I hope you're taking notes. These are just excellent, excellent suggestions that are being made to us today. I'm going to call on the next speaker, Dr. Alex Okoroji. And what we'll be asking you today is, So, on mentorship and sponsorship, and I'm so glad Dr. Adeshola also touched on that. She said, I mean, the question here is, many women, right, actively seek mentors, but far fewer understand the importance of sponsors. Now, from your experience, is there a difference? Even though I think to a large extent, Mr. Adeshola touched on it, but more importantly, how can women intentionally position themselves to earn sponsorship? That's really what we'd like to know.
Sorry, is that for me?
Yes, it's for you.
Oh,
Dr.
okay.
Okoroji. Or did you want to speak about something else?
No, no, I thought that was I thought that was really generated for the women in the corporate sector. So, well, I mean, I do feel like, I mean, she did mention about the difference, obviously, between our mentorship and sponsorship, and I think that the difference really is in relationships. Being part of, first of all, building the connections before you actually meet them. I think many times women wait till when they're in need of progression in their careers. Maybe they need the promotion, and then they start to look for who can help me. But really, you start to generate the connections before you actually meet them. For example, what communities do you belong to? What networks do you belong to? How do you start to identify the women who can either add value to you because they have already been where you're trying to go, or they already have a lot of advancement in the career pathways that you have. So either they could be mentors, maybe sometimes from a distance, but also there are many ways to reach out to them, whether it is connecting with them on social media or just having proximity to them by being parts of certain communities or clubs or networks, or offering some type of value as well, right? Because you want to make sure that the relationships are beneficial for both parties. So what can I do for you? This is something that I'm great at. Do you need some type of support? And I can help you with this. And this is how you establish yourself as someone who's
I love that you went there, because I actually have a rider to the question, and it's about confidence, which is really what we're talking about now. Like, if confidence isn't something that we're born with, I mean, we don't all have this Alex thing going, right? So if confidence isn't something that we're born with, how do women develop the courage to speak up, own their expertise, and take opportunities before they feel completely ready? That's still on you, for you, Alex.
No, that's fine. I mean, that's definitely a conversation that I have a personal relationship with, a question that I have a relationship with, because confidence wasn't obviously something that I I had to build that. In fact, I do have a book where the subtitle is From Timid Girl to Confident Woman. And one of the biggest lessons I've learned about confidence is that confidence doesn't usually come before action. It actually comes because of action. So we often imagine that, one day we're going to wake up feeling completely ready, or completely qualified, or completely fearless before we take an opportunity. But that really comes, most of the meaningful things that I've done in my life required me to move before I was actually certain. And there's something that I will borrow from my background as an actor that taught me something very useful. You can prepare for weeks, right? But eventually the director says, action. And at that point, you have to step into character and step into the scene. And I look at careers as the exact same way. That yes, preparation matters, competence matters, learning matters, but there comes a moment when preparation has to become participation. In other words, you have to step in before you're ready and take some type of move. And so I would encourage women to build what I would like to call evidence-based confidence. This is you keeping a record of, even if it's just the little things that you've accomplished, because those are actually evidences of things that remind you of the things that you've actually, like the keynote speaker said, some of the things you've overcome, through your own resilience, right? And you become more confident when you do things. So when you document the things that you've achieved, you keep a record of what you've accomplished, you remember the problems that you've solved, you document the compliments, the testimonials, the results, and the moments that someone trusted your expertise. This helps you feel more confident as you continue to take action. Because when doubt appears, and of course it will, you will need this evidence to remind you of those difficult things that you've done even when you had fear.
And done well.
So that's how I'll tell you, that's how I have this. Even if I go on my website, you see places where I remind myself of things that people have said that say, oh, you did this. Sometimes you forget the things you've accomplished.
Very true. Very true.
The other thing
I can relate very well with a lot of things that you're saying. Especially, like when you talked about the preparation, the acting, because I'm an actress too. So I get it. And you are very right. You never really quite know what you're actually going to do on set until action is set.
Until you say action.
So So I really get that. And thank you so much. I'm trying to make sure I'm
I know that you jump through. Yes.
Right. But I'll probably come back to you, even though you've taken two.
No worries at all.
Already. So I'll come back to you. Let's get Emily on the spotlight. Yes, Emily. So what I would like to know is, all this whole personal brand, once in a while, certain buzzwords start, taking over the corporate space and everything. And these days, I would say like maybe last year, from the past 2 years or so, it's been personal branding, and that is what you're known for. And what I've seen, just researching you a little, is that personal branding is probably just an entry point to a lot of things that you do, because there's so much more to what you do. And I'm sure you're going to share some of it when you're answering some of the questions. Yeah. So you work with professionals every day on their personal brands. What's the biggest branding mistake accomplished women make that limits their career progression? What would you say?
So there are a couple of them, right? But you're asking me what's one. So
the largest one.
Like the largest one, right? The one that I've seen that is so problematic. It is the fact that we think personal branding is just about posting content online. It's just about making a video or making videos and just dropping it on social media. And then that's not true. Personal branding, like you said, is an entry point. There's a whole ecosystem around it, a whole ecosystem that people don't know about. What Mrs. Okorocha is doing here, for example, is one of such. It's one of such. It is beyond just posting content. Somebody says, just speak into your phone, make videos, make TikToks, make reels. That's what a lot of people say and think, but it's not. It is way beyond that. I like to always say personal branding, or when you, it's like a bridge from where you are to where you want to go. So it's a bridge. It's that middle point. This is where I am. This is the future that I see. This is the destination that I want to get to. This is the future that I'm painting. This is the vision for me. And so you start building your personal brand to help you get there. And that affects, or that has to align with the kind of content and the quality of content that you post. Now, a lot of people post content online, professionals, business owners, and all of that. They post content online, but then the content also just sits there on social media. Social media is not your property. It's not your property. It's a rented land. You can't leave your body of work.
I totally love that.
You can't leave. I've been putting out content for the last 8 years. My body of work, my CV, my resume is the content that I put out on social media. Meta, Mark Zuckerberg and co can't own it. They can't. I can't leave it to them. So I have to have a platform, my own space, my own platform that is always open. It's within my control, because you can't control what you don't own. So I have to own my content. It's my work. It's my sweat. So I don't wake up in the morning and then I can no longer assess this thing. Jesus Christ, 8 years? I can't even afford it. So I think I've said two things. One is that a lot of professionals think, let's just start putting out content. No, it's not about putting out content. It's about putting out content that aligns with where you're going. It's about putting out content that aligns with where you're going. And number two, you're putting out content, but it shouldn't just be left on social media. You need to own your own domain. You need to have your own website. You need to start building an email list. You need to begin to treat and see yourself like a whole enterprise. You are a company. You're not just an employee. You are an enterprise. You are breathing, moving, thinking, walking, everything enterprise. So you're like a contractor who has been contracted to work in an organization, for example. You can give that service to anybody else, any other organization looking for you or who needs your skills. So don't keep it in, just there. So that's what I would say. It's one of the biggest things that professionals,
I love that.
When they think about personal branding.
And I can also relate to that. Totally relate to that. So thank you so much for that. And I want to call back Miss Dr. Chizo Malize, even though, she's there. All right.
I
worried briefly.
Not at all. It was awesome listening to Alex and Emily. Here. Great nuggets.
Yes, honestly, there's so much energy and information and rare knowledge that's happening here today for free. Okay, so I wanted to take you somewhere. Imposter syndrome. This whole imposter syndrome thing, right? Even highly accomplished women sometimes question whether they truly belong in the room. You're in the room already and you're still asking yourself, am I supposed to be here and all that, What are the practical lessons that you have learned about, or rather, what have you experienced in terms of imposter syndrome, if you have? And what advice would you give women who are waiting until they feel ready before pursuing, the bigger opportunities that are staring them in the face?
Awesome. I always love to speak about imposter syndrome because I see that it is huge for women, unfortunately. On my own, personally, I've never felt imposter syndrome. I've never experienced it personally. And I've been in so many challenging roles, so many. I started out, and I mentioned the organization where I started my career in ValueCard. 5 years after that career, in my very early 30s, precisely at 32, I was shot from a role as a head of unit to a divisional head in a bank. I arrived with 5 distinct units, supervising 24-person, 5 unit heads.
Wow.
4 older than myself, 4 male and a female. And you can imagine what that feels like. First of all 4 male thought, where's this young one coming from? And I tell you, one day I had no doubt. The biggest thing that I always have going for me is I am extremely audacious. That's one. I am absolutely confident. But what propels my audacity and confidence oftentimes is knowledge.
Yeah.
I seek knowledge.
Precisely.
I feel the void. I learn on you. I learn on me. I learn from the best. I would read up what I don't know and I would show up. I never for one day was intimidated by any of them. It didn't take a while and everybody knew that this new sheriff in town knew her stuff. And that was the fact. This is true life story.
That's so good. That's so good. Because when you talk about knowledge, it's really very like what Mrs. Adeshola said about excellence, Because you invest in knowledge, you therefore have better value, and therefore your work is optimal. It's the excellence comes through, and so everything else kind of just falls into place. Thank you so much for that.
And whatever it is that you do not know, please learn.
And there's so much information out there.
There's so much information out there. It's even easier today. Arriving this portfolio supervising 24 great persons wasn't a walk in the park. Even the sheer volume of the work that I had to do, from being a head of unit supervising 5 persons to a divisional head supervising 24 people, the gap and the volume and the sheer size was huge. But I had to learn to rack up.
Yeah, exactly.
Having to start to attend meetings with directors on a weekly basis and preparing myself. It's about preparation. So while I am filling the void of any knowledge gap that I needed through learning, through immersing in knowledge, through acquiring the knowledge, I was also showing up prepared.
Yeah.
All of these build up confidence. So for anybody who's feeling imposter syndrome, and I do not say it doesn't exist, because I know it does a lot of times. I've mentored, and I still mentor a lot of people, all the way to executive level, sometimes even women. You invite a woman to take a role and speak on something on the table, on the stage, and you are done reading her profile, and she goes, I didn't even know that was me you were talking about. Oh,
I had to learn how to stop saying that.
And
yeah.
You earned the degree, you did the work, you rose to the top, you had the awards, and somebody reads it, and then we think it's modesty. It's not modesty. Acknowledge the commendation.
Take the flowers, for God's sake.
Do not apologize for the work you have done.
Yeah, I hear you.
So back now to how best we can deal with imposter syndrome, because whether we like it or not, it does exist for some people. Number one for me is, in all things, gain knowledge. Even the good book tells us that. Knowledge is one big thing that can hold you confident. In seeking confidence, it's not about showing up beautiful, great makeup and all of that. It is in what have you filled yourself with. Fill yourself with knowledge. Devour books. Thank God, artificial intelligence has made content creation and accumulation easier. You can read 1 million books in a minute, because you can also get those references and come prepared. So amass knowledge, come prepared, be confident, and do the power talk to yourself. I've also said to people every morning that you wake up, stick those areas that you think are a challenge on your mirror and speak to the mirror, and you say, boom, 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 this is me. Speak about yourself to the mirror, looking at yourself right in the mirror, and you would gain the sort of confidence that you require. Because the moment that you begin to speak to yourself, you know, I have no confidence to speak to 50 people at a time, but today I've been called up to speak to 100. I would show up and speak like I'm talking to 10,000 in that O2 hour.
Fantastic. Well done. Well said. Thank you so much.
The other part is seek feedback. Find an accountability partner and ask, how am I doing in this area of weakness? You would always find that there is somebody who can help you, somebody who can feel your self-doubt, somebody who can help you, tell you that, you know what, you're doing well here, you're getting better. So if you wait until you're completely ready, women, no one gets completely ready.
It's not ever going to happen.
And to wrap up on this, men do 20% and take the credit for 100. Women do 100% and take the credit for 20. That's a huge form of imposter syndrome, because they ever don't think they are qualified. And so then you ask the woman who can do this better, they are pointing out to Babatunde as the better person. Yes. So why not you? Why? Because the self-doubt is creeping up. So always ask yourself, why would Babatunde do it, not me? Why can't I work with Cynthia tonight and Uloma in the afternoon and get myself ready so I show up strong? And that way,
especially Uloma. Thank you so much. You know, this was so good. You know, when you were talking, I remembered something that Mrs. Adeshola also alluded to when she was talking about the advice that she gave to her daughter. You know, there were just 3 things: speak up, show up, and stand out. And stand out. You know, those are the things that, you know, you're really, really addressing with this imposter syndrome, and they're so true. I'm just going to ask, I'm going to come back to you, Emily. And this time, I'm going to talk about something that is a problem for women. It's about asking for help. When Mrs. Adeshala was talking, she talked about resilience and the stupidity, really. Well, those are my words now. Of thinking that you can take on everything and all that. Oh, I should be able to. And she was talking about how you just need to be a lot smarter about how to deal with the issues of resilience. And she talked about the doc syndrome, where you put on that beautiful, well made up, manicured face, but you're struggling. You're struggling, right? Why do we find it difficult to ask for help? Many women pride themselves on being able to do everything themselves. How can learning to ask for help and the act of delegating to other people and how to build strong support networks actually accelerate a woman's career? And how can they get that going? Emily, this is yours.
Oh, okay, all right. I wanted to show who it was for.
So do you want me to take it again?
No, I think I got it.
Okay. Okay.
So I'll use myself as an example, right? I have 4 kids, and I do a lot of work. I work from home, majorly work from home. I have one husband, right? So I've been able to build, I wouldn't call it dependence per se, but I've been able to build some sort of partnership with my husband, that he understands the work that I do. He's part of the work that I do. He understands when I need help. And I don't even have to ask him for it most of the time, because I've kind of trained him to know that I need help. When I'm doing a live webinar, for example, or I'm helping a client do something, my husband knows, right? Mondays are one of the days of the week that I do not give out to anybody anything for. I don't care what you bring in. I avoid as much as possible for people. My husband also can call me because I work from home. Emily, run an errand. No, you're wasting your time. You won't call me. If you think about it, you will stop the thoughts from coming. And that's because I've been able to show that my work is serious. I work like I work for somebody, but I don't. My work is not serious. So the question that you asked, I think it's the number one thing, or the biggest reason for that, is how we've been trained, how we've been raised. We've been raised not to be ambitious. We've been raised not to really hold on to our work. We've been raised not to really make money, not to be, we've been raised like that. So kind of like, and it's such a problem. Recently I was having a conversation. My sister was having a conversation with someone, my own sister. Funny enough, I'm in her house, so she shouldn't hear that I'm talking about her. I'm not in my city. I traveled, so I'm here with her. And she and her friend were talking. Her friend works, and she doesn't work. My sister, she stays at home. And then the friend said something like, oh, if she's away from her family, she would not be able to sleep. And my sister says, oh, yes, that she won't be able to sleep. And I'm like, I'm going to sleep. I'm going to sleep. And they were laughing. And I'm like, I'm going to sleep. I'm going to put my legs on the bed. I'm going to sleep because I'm going to go back home anyway. And they will still put all this work on me. So this one that I'm here, I'm going to sleep. I came to work. I'm speaking somewhere. Maybe I'm traveling from one city to another city. My husband is with the kids. He will take care of them. He can. Just because he's not a mom doesn't mean he doesn't have what it takes to take care of the kids. Motherhood is not something that is not a gift. I spoke about this somewhere. Motherhood is not a gift. It's not something that I don't know how to explain it. It's something we learn on the job. We learn it on the job. Honestly, if you ask me. So my husband should also learn it on the job. Let us be modeling together. Yes. So I think it's just how we've been trained not to ask, not to look like you are. I remember when I went to have a baby in the United States, and I had a health challenge. And when I was done, they asked me, I was going to just walk downstairs. You know how we do in Nigeria, nobody cares, right? And then these people asked me at the hospital, do you want a wheelchair? Should we wheel you? And I said, yes. And my sister, the same sister, she was like, I would tell them in Nigeria, I would tell them that you sat. I'm like, whoa, what is wrong with that? I can't walk. I don't have a baby. If they give me chair to wheel me down, I'm going to use the chair, for God's sake. So it's just how we
what is wrong with using the wheelchair, for God's sake? Listen, Emily, unfortunately, I have to stop you here because we're really, really running out of time. I want to take at least 1 or 2 questions from the audience. If there's anybody who has a question, what you said is fantastic, because I could relate with. I love what you said about how motherhood is not a gift. Motherhood is not a gift. It's learned on the job. So anybody can learn it, please. I love that. Are there any questions in the house? Because if there aren't, then we can move on to the next thing. I'm sure there are questions. How do I know if there are questions, by the way? All right. I don't think we have any questions. Okay, fine. So, dear ladies, Dr. Chisel Malize, Dr. Alex Okoroji, and dearest Emily Wale Koya, you guys have been fantastic. We've learned so much from your very deep experience or shared experiences, really. Thank you very much for being a part of this. We really, really appreciate you. Thank you. Guys, let's love them up a little. Love them up a little. Let's see some nice hearts going up.
Thank you very much.
All
It's been
right, so
wonderful being here. Thank you, and thanks for the
Thank you.
brilliant
Thank you.
moderation.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Shizo. I appreciate it. Excellent, guys. We are moving. I hope everybody is having some fun here because I am. I'm learning so much. You know, free information, man. You know how much you need to pay to get the type of information we're getting here? You guys will know. You will know. But we're getting it for free. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to call up a few speakers who are going to just give us reflections. I'm not sure if we have them here already. No, I'm supposed to be taking the comments from two ladies. Are they here? I want to confirm that they are here before I. Can somebody just help me confirm that Dr. Eke and Hadija are here? They're not? Are they? Are they not? Are they not? All right. Okay, so what's going to happen is we're going to call on Dr. Uganze Eke, and she's just going to give us a reflection about this whole thing that we're discussing today. If you remember, the topic or the theme for the day is what it really takes for the career woman to rise. So I would like to call on Dr. Uganze Eke. Coming up, Dr. Eke is another really dear friend of mine, dear sister of mine. She's the pharmacist of pharmacists, and she's a wealth of all manner and types of knowledge. But I don't know how this is going to work. Is she physically there? Okay, she's been sent. Okay. All right. Is there Hadija is not here, is she? Okay, we're expecting Uganze to join. Well, since we have a bit of time, let me kind of introduce her a little, even though what she'll be talking about may not be totally related to her work and the things that she has done in her career, but we have time. Uganze is I would like to refer to her as as Africa's first certified pharmacist in lifestyle medicine, and she's the founder and CEO of Fitness Fair and Choose Life Wellness, where she helps organizations build healthier, more resilient, and higher performing workforces through data-driven corporate wellness solutions. It's so exciting what people are using technology to do in today's world. This is somebody who is a trained pharmacist, but the work she's doing in the area of lifestyle medicine is phenomenal. And she's like, just breaking new grounds as she goes through the things that she's doing. She's a globally sought after corporate wellness advocate, speaker, and author. And I don't know if she's here yet. She's not here yet. All right, so I have been a beneficiary of some of the work that she does. She has these major things, these major machines that help you with, creating, or rather reading, if you want, the, okay, great. So, so there's some other people who I have here. There's a question from Atinuke, which says, oh dear, I just hope that our speakers are still here. Please, can you relate that last explanation on seeking help to those that are not married? Emily, I guess that's your question. So maybe you can take something very quickly as we wait for Oganze to come on. The question was whether you can relate that explanation that you gave to people that are not married. In other words, can the help that you seek be not your husband, somebody else, because you're not married?
Yes, of course, it can be anybody. I mean, if you need help from your boss, if you need help from a mentor, if you need help from anyone, whatever kind of help that you need, learn to ask. So it's about learning the asking game. Learn to ask. There's a way to ask, before you ask, make sure you've given something. See, make sure you've brought value to the table. Then you make your asking easy. For people to want to give you back. So you don't come asking without anything, any value, any deposit whatsoever. You just want to
collect.
Collect, just want to collect. So it doesn't work that way. So you've got to learn the asking game, and you can ask. It doesn't have to be your spouse or partner. It could be anybody, even a friend. We should learn to ask by first bringing value, by first making ourselves valuable, by first making somebody else feel better, get, whatever they want.
So, I guess it's like a trade of sorts,
It's like a trade, yes. I have my PA, my PA used to teach that as well, because he used to tell me when we're looking for interns, that's what he used to teach them, or he used to tell them, and it was very important that people, according to him, people don't know how to serve others to get what they want. Yes, we need to learn how to serve to get what we want. You see, Jesus did it when he washed the disciples' feet. It was like he was their servant. But look at him. Thousands of years after, we're still shouting Jesus. We've never seen him, but we are still shouting, and we believe, we're convinced beyond all reasonable doubt that he's our Lord, and we're going to see him again. And that's because he, first of all, gave of himself freely without holding anything back. So we should learn the asking game. So, we should learn.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you very, very much. I totally agree with you. It's a trade. Bring something to the table and then ask for something. And then, you guys kind of meet as equals. All right. So I don't think we're going to have Oganze. So I'm going to just go and set up the second panel, just so that we can actually make sure that we get value from everybody who's here to give us something today. So thank you again, the first panel. But for this second panel, I'll be introducing the following people. Just give me a moment. So we're going to have, and I hope you guys are here and can unmute yourselves as I call you forth. All right, so we have the first person I'm going to call is Uzamaka Oshogwe. Now, she is the Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer at the Transcorp Hotels PLC. And basically, she leads one of Africa's most foremost hospitality groups, which includes, of course, the Transcorp Hilton and Aura by Transcorp Hotels. She's highly accomplished, and she has over 30 years of leadership experience in hospitality, real estate, banking, and consulting. She's a Harvard Business School executive education alumna, accredited mediator, and respected corporate leader. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Uzamaka Oshogwe. Let her please unmute. Give her some love. Thank you very much, and you're welcome.
Good evening, everyone, and thanks for having me.
I can't wait to hear from you. And then we also have right here Stella Okuzu, who is Director and Chief Executive Officer, Royal African Society, international business leader and board director with over 20 years of experience across banking and consulting, and academia and diplomacy. You know, there's so many ands. Leads the organization dedicated to strengthening UK Africa. That is right. Make London 3. And come Stella with a resounding. You're welcome, Stella.
Lovely to be here. Thank you.
So, healthcare, senior legal executive, independent board director with over 15 years experience advising multinational organizations across Africa. She's an expert in corporate governance, regulatory compliance, enterprise risk, and board effectiveness. Passionate advocate for ethical leadership, diversity, inclusion, and sustainable organizational growth. And she totally loves Nigeria and is planning her trip to Abuja. So a round of applause for her as we welcome her.
Thank you for having me here tonight.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Cynthia. All right, so let's go right into it, guys. Okay. While I'm, okay, I'm not at the right place. Yes, hang on, guys. Who sent it to me? It was cheap. Okay, yeah, we're here. All right, so I'm going to start with you, Cynthia. Surprise, surprise.
Okay.
All right, so I'm going to ask you, because like for this panel, our theme is going to be beyond success, building influence, wealth, and legacy, right? So I'm going to start with you because I want you to take on something that has been addressed a little today, and it's about strategic influence, all right? So throughout your international career, for instance, you've advised boards and senior leadership on complex strategic issues. How can women develop influences in rooms where they may not have formal authority and yet still shape important decisions?
Okay, thank you so much for the question. And I think my answer will kind of echo a little bit what the previous panelists as well as the keynote speaker said. And from my perspective, what is very important is how do you build influence, right? And what's important in influence is you want to become the person whose judgment people trust, right? And the question therefore becomes, how do you build it? And based on my experience, having learned from my peers and also from each of you here, what I can say is it's important for anyone to work on 3 key skills, which for me would be
I totally agree with you, but I just wanted to throw in something, Cynthia. I actually have just 60 seconds for you, so you need to really manage your time, all right? So go for it.
Sure, with pleasure. So credibility would be then the ability for you to know your subject, right? As several of us have said here. And then the second piece would be, how do you understand the context? What is at stake here? And lastly is, do you have the courage to say not know, but not that way, right? As a consequence, once you are able to understand and to master what you're talking about, you would automatically be the one that's influencing in the room, because people know that they can relate to your expertise. They can relate to your knowledge. And in addition to influence, there is also the posture, right? How do you want to present? And how do you show up in front of the mirror before getting there, and so that you are ready to what you're going to talk about? So be prepared so you can feel yourself that you're legitimate in the room where you are, right? And do it your own way. Do it with your respect, do it with your assurance, but get there when you're ready. So again, keep in mind that influence is becoming the person whose judgment people would trust. And that's how I would work on this one.
I love that. I totally love that. Thank you so much for that, Cynthia. Let me go to you now, Stella. And what I want to take the global perspective, right? Because let's talk about building global influence. Your career spans banking, consulting, academia, diplomacy. I mean, when I was introducing you, I said so many ands, you know, and now leading a prestigious international institution. How have you intentionally built influence across sectors and continents? And what can women do to increase their influence beyond their immediate organizations?
Thank you so much, Uloma. And I'd like to thank especially Chinyere Okorocha for creating this forum for us to share our thoughts. I'm going to disappoint you. I never actually set out to build influence. I set out to, and I'll ask myself, who is Stella? What does Stella represent? Now, there are three things that I hold so dear. One of them is relationships. You know, I look back at my career, and quite frankly, apart from the lecturing role I did in London, every job I have had, from my first job selling houses in HFP, was people referring those opportunities to me. So I build relationships. You know, there's people like to do business with people they like. So once you have an ecosystem of people who like you, who trust you, your influence is the outcome. That's a derivative. The second thing is credibility. What would I be known for? What do I stand for? You know, I cast my mind back when I was in banking, and I remember I was having this conversation with a colleague of mine who is today quite influential in the Nigerian banking circles. And he said to me, to be honest, I can't remember what the topic was. And then he said, "Oh, Stella, you own is too much. Is it your father's bank?" And I said to him, "No, it's not my father's bank. It's my bank."
Oh, there you go.
That sense of ownership. Yeah. So I then said the relation, and then people begin to know you for that. The third thing is creating value. I mean, a lot of people describe me as hardworking. To be honest, sometimes they're like, "Oh, no, it's not just about hard work." We need to intentional. So that's where intentionality comes. In creating value. What is going to be different because I'm here? We need to ask ourselves that question.
What do I bring to the table?
Yes. What is going to be different because I'm here? Another thing, in building those relationships, sometimes we limit ourselves to people within our career, people within our location.
True.
And then we say it's a global world. You know, you need to build relationships across the world. And those things can be done so easily. There's some people who in Canada who feel like they know me just because we've connected on LinkedIn and we're sharing ideas. So you need to do that so that you never know where those contacts. And it's not about because you want, you're paying them forward. Another thing I'd like to mention is in these relationships, it's both people above us and people below. I sit on a board today, and one of the board members always says, and I find it quite embarrassing, he says, "Oh, Stella she used to be my boss. She taught me everything I know in banking." You never know where you'll meet people in the future. True. So I would say, don't just build a career, build yourself. Wherever you go, ask yourself, be intentional. So that's where the intentionality comes. Everywhere I've been, from day one, how long do I want to be here for? And what do I want to create? What is going to be different because
what impact are you going to leave behind, basically?
Exactly.
Love that,
Now,
Stella.
all
Thank you
of
so
those
much.
things will now
Yeah.
be about the influence, I would say.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm sorry that I'm rushing this because I know there's so much more where that came from. But I want to ask Uzo now because it's important that we also get something from your wealth of experience and knowledge. And I want to specifically talk about building wealth, because like when Mrs. Adeshola was talking, she was talking about how we tend not to do that very well, women, right? So, many women focus on earning and income, but give far less attention to intentionally building wealth. In your view, and with all the work that you've done in all the places that you've worked, in all the career learning that you've received, what mindset shifts and financial decisions should women make throughout their careers if they truly want financial independence and long-term security?
Okay, I think you've actually said one of the things. First of all, thank you for having me and congratulations again to Chichi. Okay, so talking about wealth, you've actually answered one of the questions. It's not all about income. If I think about my early career, I did take a job that paid less than the previous. And why did I do that? Because I looked at value. What value am I going to get in this new company that I didn't get in the previous, even though the previous paid more? So that leads me to what will I tell the leaders coming behind me? That wealth is not about how much they pay you every day. It's about what do you do with that money that they pay you? Are you going to wait every month to get paid and then wait for the next month so you get paid? How do you plan for the future? There was something Miss Bolanle said. She said something about you need to create financial independence so that you are in a position to make good career choices. So you don't say, oh, I'm a corporate slave. Because we used to say that ages ago. So as you go along, what type of investments, decisions should you make to free yourself from that slavery you keep talking about?
Yeah.
And that is creating wealth. And there are loads of mechanisms you can actually do that. You can actually...
Maybe you can just give us like 2 quick ones.
Investments. Like you talked about me being, I actually was in real estate. That's one core area of creating wealth, generational wealth. Because we're not talking about just wealth for yourself. You're talking about the one that when you are gone, people still talk about it. And that type of wealth is intentional. It's not something that just falls in laps. It's you deciding that every month I get paid, I'm going to set aside this amount of money. I'm going to invest it in this and this instrument. So it's about investment, smart investments, strategic investments, intentional investments. And this is not in the type of shoes you're going to wear or the bags you buy. It's about investment that value multiplies. So it's about multiplicity of the money you put aside. So if you put money aside 1 year down the line, what is it worth? So it's about value.
Yeah. Excellent. Thank you so much. That is so well said. I hope we're listening. Some of
so
us
instead
are
of buying a bag, buy land.
Exactly. buy land. Because that land wouldn't look very nice at a wedding.
It won't look very nice, but while you're there, you're sleeping and
it's generating income. I know.
And then down the line, you're going to be able, years down the line, you can buy those bags without even thinking.
True there. Thank you so much for that.
Yeah.
Thank you. Oh dear, I'm so sorry that I have to wrap up this session very quickly. I was hoping that I would have the opportunity to get some kind of summary from each of our speakers. And I'm well, that's my way of asking if I can still do that. But even as I'm waiting for my response, I want to remind everyone, I don't think I said it earlier, but I don't know if Chi did, because I didn't quite hear most of Chinyere's opening. There is a mystery box that is going to be happening today. Somebody's going to be walking away with a mystery box. Now, I have no idea what that means. I don't know what it is. I don't know. It is mystery, so I'm not supposed to know what it is. And I don't know what you have to do to get it. So just know that somebody will be walking away with it. So just be of good behavior. I think that's all I can advise everybody. All right. And then it's also important for everybody to know that we are not just talking about heels and ladders for the sake of talking about it. We're saying it needs to be purchased. We need to buy it, even as we're talking right now, even as we're talking about, because everything that you've been hearing everybody talk about, they're all in that book, every single thing. Every topic that has been addressed today is in one of the chapters of that book. So if you don't have it already, you can begin to order yours. Amazon, it's on Amazon. I got mine through Amazon recently. Well, my second one, really. It's there, and it is something. In fact, I told Chi that I'm going to have to buy it for every young woman that I know. It's not something that you buy and keep to yourself. Everybody, especially young women, should actually have a copy of this book. All right. So I think I have enough time to just ask that last question. And what it would be really is, if you could leave every woman attending today with just one piece of advice about building a life of influence, wealth, and lasting legacy, not just a successful career like we've learned today, what would it be? I'm going to give you like 30 seconds each, starting with you, Uzo.
Okay. What I'll say is that for every young lady, you must live purposefully. In any decision you make, what's the purpose? What value, what impact are you going to leave behind? It's okay. You don't wake up every morning, go to work just because you want to just clock the time. At the end of the day, ask yourself, what have I achieved? What impact have I made on Miss A, Mr. B, Mr. A? Because at the end of the day,
I like that.
We're all leaders, but who have you passed on your DNA to? It's not just on your children, it's people you work. You cannot be a leader if you do not pass.
And not impact their lives. I totally agree with you.
And then when you leave where you're working, there must be somebody who can step into your toes, into those shoes, and perform even better than you did.
Even better than you. Exactly. Thank you. I love that. Thank you, Uzo. Cynthia, you want to drop something for
Sure, I want to complete what Uzo just said, and to say you should know what is non-negotiable for you, and you should know what is adaptable, right? And by doing so, you will then be aligned with your beliefs and the woman that you want to become, right? Know what your standards is and have the discipline to live by those standards. And the question by the end of the day for you would be, what am I building that will continue to create value when I'm no longer in the room? And that's what I want to leave everybody with.
Beautiful.
Thank
I love
you.
that. I love that. Thanks. Before I call on Stella to kind of give her comments and therefore wrap up this panel, I just remembered something else that Bola Adeshola said that I think is important for us to take away. When she was talking about support structures, she said that we need to move from competent and visible to competent and considered. That was when she was talking about the need to get sponsors rather than just mentors. I just remember that was something I wanted to talk about because we are not doing enough of that. Now I'm going to call on Stella. Same question, like what would you leave us with, if you had just 30 seconds to communicate?
3 things. ACG, be ambitious enough to create wealth, be courageous enough to pursue purpose, and be generous enough to carry other women along. That's what I would say.
Beautiful. ACG, You need to patent it. Talk to Chinyere. She's an intellectual property lawyer. She needs to patent that. ACG is what it's about. And I think it summarizes everything that you have so beautifully communicated to us today. Thank you very much, Cynthia. Thank you, Uzo.
Thank
and
you.
Thank you, Stella. You guys have been
Pleasure.
beautifully
Thank
impactful.
you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, so where are we? Before we go into the next session, which is just a bridge, really, I know that we've been sitting for too long. I personally have been sitting for much too long. So we're going to do head, shoulders, knees, and toes, right? So I want everybody to stand up, wherever you are. I'm hoping I'm getting this right because I'm learning as I'm going on. Everybody get up. I know the song though, so I'm going to put it to music. Yeah? Oh yeah, those of you that thought that because it's Zoom that we won't see the rest of your body, I hope you're well clad. All right. So heads and shoulders, knees and toes, knees and toes. Heads and shoulders, knees and toes, knees and toes. I don't remember the rest of the song, but it's heads and shoulders, knees and toes. Great. I hope everybody did it. I hope everybody did it. Yeah, I saw some of us. Beautiful, beautiful. At least we've stretched a little. Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much for that. And what we're going to do now on, I think we have Organza here now. So I'm going to ask her to just unmute herself and speak while Amaka is also getting ready because she has a poem that she'll be sharing with us. A poem. And I'm going to ask you guys to guess the name of the poem. If you know what the name of the poem is, type it on the chat box. But for, oh my goodness, what happened? Okay, she's there. I was looking for Organza. There you go. So please, Organza, you have the floor.
Hi, Yoloba. Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Amazing, amazing, Chi. Congratulations, and so proud of you. You know, I come from many parts to saying this congratulations, but as a sister and as an Indine for life. Anyways, so I'm here to talk about what I love about the book. And like Oloma said, chapter 1, I just couldn't leave the chapter 1. I also kept on going around, but then I want to talk about clarity because I'll just read what I have on page 28 and then I'll talk about it very, very briefly. You cannot reach your destination without knowing where you're going. Clarity of destination is the starting point for climbing the career ladder. And yesterday I was talking to a young girl and I said that I think that we need to wake up quicker. I'm a mother of 4 daughters, so this is very personal for me. And I realize that a lot of us as women don't wake up until, well, this is what we realize, and we talk about it a lot in my friend group. Why do we have to wait till 50 to say, aha? And then to start to get the capacity to find voice. And thankfully, our daughters are not like that these days, but we must be more intentionally making sure that other women also find their voice on time. And I put it down to just this. The fact that we were so raised in these our climes, especially as African women, not having clarity to know that you are also permitted to be. And so for me, the simplicity that she put this together, I mean, we know it, but you hear it, but how does it settle in your spirit to actually now find voice?
Yeah,
and that is just what I want to commend her for, because the push for this book is to get women to find that clarity, because without that clarity, there is no journey. There is no investment. There is no owning anything. So I think we really need to focus a lot on making sure that you also help young women under your wings to find that clarity. Because once they are able to see clearly, map out their journey, I think you would have done probably what their mothers and their grandmothers didn't do.
For them.
And definitely the society is always wanting to put us down anyway. So we need to focus on helping each other find our voices and our clarity. And that for me is the great takeaway. Well done, Chi. Well done, Chi. Love you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Ganze. That was really very nicely said. And you speak for all of us. Honestly, you do. All right. So I'm going to call on Amaka Chika Mbonu. And nobody wrote the title of the... Did anybody... No. I can't even find anything even on YouTube. I said you should guess the title of the poem, and none of you is guessing. That's not nice. All right. Yay, Jane, you're so right. Jane on YouTube says Heels and Ladders, and that's exactly the title. So, so I'm going to call on Amaka right now, and she's going to share this poem that she has written. And for those of you who don't know, I'm a bit of a tatafo. They said I shouldn't be introducing everybody, but I can't help myself. Amaka is our sister. Amaka is Chinyere's elder sister, and she is an amazing force herself. Let's not even discuss her books. She has 8 published books with titles that are longer than chapters of books. And they are fantastic books that are usually very women support oriented. And today she has decided to share with us all, and especially with Chinyere, her view as the poet that she is on Heels and Ladders. Amaka, please unmute yourself, and you're welcome.
Thank you so much, everybody. So here I go. Managed to get the background in place, and so I hope I'm appearing as I should.
Yeah.
For my sister. And so I wrote this poem especially for my sister, for this amazing book. And I'll start. It's very personal to me. So I'll begin. She didn't climb quietly, but nor did she wait for conditions to wait for her, to pause, to favor her, to soften. No, she climbed in heels, never designed for ladders, heels that were never designed for ladders. She balanced on floors that for many reasons were not designed for her unique makeup, for her unique stride. She rose in those heels. It was a deliberate choice, symbolic of the precision and the resolve and the makeup that were required to advance in environments that were not originally designed for her stride. She strode on terrain that often demanded more of her than it demanded from those that were climbing alongside her. She forged ahead in those heels. She gave it her all, irrespective of the turbulent, tenuous, tasking, trying, and oftentimes treacherous terrain that she needed to navigate. And she did this because her purpose weighed more on her than her fear of falling over. They told her that the ladder was neutral, that it was structured, wood and rung. They told her it was merit-based, step and reward. They told her it was objective, male and female. But she felt the tilt. She felt the missing rungs. She felt the difficulty of navigating in heels and form-fitting female attire, power attire. But she is woman, the hand that rocks the cradle, the incubator, the one who births nations. She understood its realities. She understood the polished surfaces that made everything slippery, what legacy power had produced, the unspoken expectations to manage and navigate everything that woman is, despite this terrain. So what did she do? She adapted. She learned balance, not as compromise, but as mastery. She learned to pause without surrendering. She learned to stand firm without hardening. She learned how to advance without apology. She learned the mathematics of balance. She learned how to stand strength without apology, to pause without retreat, to stand tall, even when the ground insisted that she bow. Each rung required more competence. It required composure under extreme and intense scrutiny. She exhibited ambition, sometimes with some restraint. She was able to deliver authority, but with grace. Not diminished, not diluted, but measured. And still she climbed in those hills, looking awesome as she did so. Her outward appearance mirroring and even sometimes masking what was inside. As she climbed, still she climbed. Not because the ladder was generous or forgiving, but because her purpose was clear. Because progress, once envisioned, she recognized, required, no, in fact, demanded movement. Her heels met glass, they met steel, they met concrete. Each step unapologetically audible, intentional, measured, her stride decisive. A rhythm that the building could not ignore. Click, clack, click, clack, click, clack. The percussion of purpose, the drum roll of arrival, a manifestation and a quiet declaration of, I am here, I am prepared, I belong. I will not remove myself to fit your comfort. No, I won't. And when she reached heights that were once reserved for whispers and exceptions rather than expectations, she did not pull the ladder up behind her. She steadied it for the women who were climbing alongside her, matching pace, showing courage, sharing courage, holding space even when the ground gave way under them, sharing insight, pointing out where the rungs were broken or missing. She strengthened it, this ladder. She strengthened it for the daughters watching, the ones learning not only how to rise, but how to rise uncompromised, integrity intact, knowing deep within her that this is necessary for the women yet to come who will encounter stronger structures because she did not normalize imbalance. And for this reason, for these women, their paths will be clearer. Their burdens will be lighter. Their choices will be broader. This climb was never individual. It was always and will always be cumulative. And so to every woman navigating progression today, ankles aching, confidence tested, considering if the cost is really worth the climb. You're not wanton for wanting more. You're not fragile, nor will you crumble because the climb is hard. You're not alone in this ascent. I tell you, rest when needed, then continue your climb. Remember this, that the structure was not initially built with you and I in mind. For every woman who has climbed and advanced and is pulling her sisters up with her to the forefront, reaching out her hand behind, look to this book, this manual, this guide, written by my baby sister Chi, with all of you in mind. Thank you.
Oh my wow. Oh my wow. This was so good. I was totally enwrapped. You know, the director was trying to catch my attention, but he couldn't because I was totally enwrapped. Amaka, this is one of your best poems yet, and I would know. I would know, right? There was this particular line that you had that really, you know, there's so many of them, you know, but from a poet's point of view, you know, when you said, you are not wanton for wanting.
No, at all.
That is such a beautiful line, you know, because that's exactly it. You know, you think that when you are showing yourself forward, then you're being, you know, a bit loose. You know, you're that girl that is from the streets and all that. You know, so when you say you're not wanton for wanting, it's such a nice play on words and
tó jọ mẹ́ta tí mo ti jọ. Baby, I never show. Ṣé di lóró máa ṣọ aṣọ lóró mọ́tì? Iná kan bá sọ. Lóde mi fa sọ, mo ti dance song. Scatter when I sing my song. Mr. Money dájọ́, ọmọ wé máa ń kùlà. Ẹ má fowó mi dájọ́. Gucci, Louis, Boda designer. Àkùbẹ́ kan níbi China. Kùrájẹ́ lọ́wọ́ mi ó ló ṣàkà final. Aqua basket white from Ghana. See many girls with my baby fine. Oh nana, ọmọ tó ṣan bí Rihanna. Baby go down now, no give me wala. Baby má jẹ́ kí lẹ́kẹ̀ẹ́ yẹn kó já náà. Kásá.
Tune into the king of sounds and blues.
Ó tó jọ mẹ́ta tí mo ti jọ. Baby, I never show. Ṣé di lóró máa ṣọ aṣọ lóró mọ́tì? Iná kan bá sọ. Lóde mi fa sọ, mo ti dance song. Scatter when I sing my song. Mr. Money dájọ́, ọmọ wé máa ń kùlà. Ẹ má fowó mi dájọ́. Gucci, Louis, Boda designer. Àkùbẹ́ kan níbi China. Kùrájẹ́ lọ́wọ́ mi ó ló ṣàkà final. Aqua basket white from Ghana. See many girls with my baby fine. Oh nana, ọmọ tó ṣan bí Rihanna. Baby go down now, no give me wala. Baby má jẹ́ kí lẹ́kẹ̀ẹ́ yẹn kó já náà. Kásá.
Tune into the king of sounds and blues.
Ó tó jọ mẹ́ta tí mo ti jọ. Baby, I never show. Ṣé di lóró máa ṣọ aṣọ lóró mọ́tì? Iná kan bá sọ. Lóde mi fa sọ, mo ti dance song. Scatter when I sing my song. Mr. Money dájọ́, ọmọ wé máa ń kùlà. Ẹ má fowó mi dájọ́. Gucci, Louis, Boda designer. Àkùbẹ́ kan níbi China. Kùrájẹ́ lọ́wọ́ mi ó ló ṣàkà final. Aqua basket white from Ghana. See many girls with my baby fine. Oh nana, ọmọ tó ṣan bí Rihanna. Baby go down now, no give me wala. Baby má jẹ́ kí lẹ́kẹ̀ẹ́ yẹn kó já náà. Kásá.
Tune into the king of sounds and blues.
Okay, where's everybody? I hope we had a good stretch. I had to go get some water. I was very in need of water. I'm just going to wait for a few more people to show up. We're almost there, guys. But we're going to have this fireside chat that I've been looking forward to because I expect that it's going to be an opportunity to get into Chinyere's head. It's something that we all want to do. And we are also going to get into the book launch program, which is going to be the last event of the day. So is everybody here?
Tune into the King of Sounds and Blues.
Okay. Kayode isn't back. I was hoping that he would be so we could see what's going on. Okay. I'm just going to have to assume that everything is ready. Yes, it is. Okay, excellent. So, ladies and a few gentlemen who are here, you're all welcome back from that mini that break that we had. Now we're going to go into a part that I've been looking forward to witnessing, and that is the fireside chat. We're going to have a fireside chat with the host, with Chinyere. I know we saw her at the beginning, giving us all that energy and getting us, into all that we've seen. But now we're going to go into her story. We're going to get into everything that was behind her wanting to write this book, why she wrote the book, what her career journey has been, and the lessons, really that are behind each of the messages that were shared. And we're hoping that at the end of everything, there will be a clear vision really for women, because a lot of people have attested to the fact that she has been able to not just make the moves that she has made, but to make sure that those coming after her are also able to make the same and even better moves than she did. Something that was very nicely captured also in Amaka's poem. So, ladies and gentlemen, without wasting any more time, I'm going to call on, first of all, our moderator for the day, Chukwuma Aligwekwe, who is best known as Chico. Chico is going to be moderating this fireside chat. He's going to be interviewing the host, and he needs no introduction. So let's welcome Chico and show him some love, guys. He's a brave man to be here with all these women all over the place. All right.
Hi. Thank you. Thank you so much.
So just let's confirm that you can hear us properly, can't you? Olo, you can hear us loud and clear, right? Oh, okay. Okay, it is great to be here, and it's great to be here, and yes, it is daunting being a man in the midst of so many women, but I think I'll survive. We're going to dive straight into it. I suppose we should apologize. I know that this is running a little late now, but it really is worth it. I mean, isn't it? So we're going to dive into it. You might know that Chinyere is my little sister, and we're really proud of her. Yeah, so it's a great privilege of mine to be here. Congratulations on the book.
Thank you.
So let's get into it, shall we? Your career spans 3 decades. It's been a long journey. So building this career and then getting to a place where you can pass this knowledge on. What's about career success? What is it about career success that you wish you had known earlier on when you were starting out? So you're talking to those who are where you were over 3 decades.
Thank you, Chico, and thank you, everybody. I hope you're having a great time, just like I am. If you are, please let me know in the chat box. You know, I always say I love the hearts, I love the flowers, I love the thumbs up. It's been amazing listening to these fabulous, highly accomplished women. So, the question is, what do I know now that I wish I knew then? And a lot of the speakers have touched on it. I wish I knew that merely working hard was not enough to get to the height that I wanted to get to. I wish I knew that there were other things that were just as important as being technically sound. You know, when you come out of school, you're so focused on, you know, building the technical ability, working hard, and those things, I tell you, they are invaluable. However, as I moved through my career over the years, I was working hard, I was building my technical knowledge, you know, but I wasn't growing as fast as I needed to. And, you know, I would come across women from all walks of life, you know, my school friends, and we'll sit and we'll talk. And I was privileged in my workplace, Jackson Edu. Then I was in another law firm, but where we now moved to form Jackson Edu. And I was privileged to be sent on international conferences all over the world, you know, and every country I went to, the women were saying the same thing. They were dealing with work-life balance. Some of them, it was imposter syndrome, always second-guessing ourselves. A lot of them were juggling so many balls. Some were overlooked for promotion. There was the male-female dichotomy. It was just the same. Europe, America, Asia, Africa, even Australia, you know. So that's, you know, when I started thinking, you know, and I was growing, you know, and putting other things, you know, into place apart from just my technical ability and hard work. And I thought to pen it down so I can help others.
So you thought to pen it down. So that answers why you wrote Heels and Ladders.
Yes.
Perfect. But going a bit deeper, there must have been a
defining moment.
There must have been a defining moment. I'm told that my volume is really low. You can't hear me. So if you guys can do anything about it. So what was that defining moment when you realized that the lessons you had learned needed to be put down to help others?
Yeah. That did happen in 2021. At the height of the COVID pandemic. So I had just been named one of the 20 maybe most inspiring or something legal practitioners by Business Day, a magazine in Nigeria, a newspaper in Nigeria. And it had been delivered to my house amidst the COVID thing. We were all working from home. So I was sitting at my dining table. Then I didn't have a home office. And I could see my garden, and on the table was that publication with my picture in it. And it just had me thinking, so I've achieved this, being named, you know, this top female lawyer in Nigeria, but how many women are going to get there? I started asking myself, you've learned quite a bit. I had done some courses, trainings and all that. I had a coach, Emily Wale Koya, and so I thought that this knowledge shouldn't die with me, that a lot of women needed to hear this story. And because we were at home during COVID, I wanted that book to be written during that period so that at the end of COVID, I can say that's when I wrote my book. But the book wasn't published until 5 years after the idea was birthed, but it did come out, and we had a physical launch in February this year. And actually, I had a little launch in Doha last year in October. A friend of mine, NHN, who runs a women's network, had an event in Doha, and she, gave me a slot to do a soft launch of the book. Nkechi, if you're there. And then I launched it in physically, just a small, a few close friends were there. But I thought that I had to have, more women needed this message. More women needed to know that there are things you can do apart from just your technical ability and hard work that will get you there. And that's what Heels and Ladders is all about.
And that leads nicely into my next question. Because you often say that books are enough.
Yes.
And it's been said today a number of different times. So when did you discover that in your own career? What else did you learn that women
one of the biggest lessons is that you can't do it on your own. You can't do it on your own, You need a myriad of different people. The support system around you is very important. I remember a story when I was, had my first child, and I got the opportunity to go to the UK when my child was just 4 months old, and I had to quickly call because I wanted to go for the opportunity. Who doesn't want to go to London? And my baby was 4 months old, and I wanted her to continue breastfeeding, and all that. I called my mom. My mom came and stayed in the house. My husband bought a generator so we could, put the milk there when I wasn't away and all that. That's a story for another day. But suffice it to say, you need a lot of people. You need relations. You need a good spouse, a good man. You need colleagues who will be there to help you. Someone today spoke about sponsors. You need mentors and sponsors. You need women you look up to who have walked the path that you want to walk and who can show you where the hills and ladders and the valleys all are. So that was one thing I've learned, that you can't do it alone. As a woman, you can't do it alone.
All right. Now you have built this demanding career. Well, being a wife, as you said, a mother, a leader, a mentor. So what has navigating work and family really looked like? And what have you learned along the way?
Okay, so that's the big question people often ask about women, work-life balance. And I always like to say that balance is kind of subjective. What might be balanced to one person may not be the same to me. And that balance doesn't mean getting everything equal at the same, but balance doesn't mean equality. I see balance as a pendulum. Sometimes it will skew in this direction, and another time it will skew in another direction. Because in the life of a woman, there are times and seasons. And these times and seasons, you need to recognize them. Sometimes you will need to put more attention on your personal life. So maybe you're having children, maybe it's aged parents, maybe you just got married, and you give it the time it needs. And sometimes it will be all about your career and you're forging ahead, and you put things in place to allow you to pursue that career. Remember I said you can't do it alone. A driver in Nigeria, where I currently am, is not a luxury, it's a necessity. That is a driver, a chauffeur. I know we have people from all over the world here. I saw some people from America, UK, Canada, of course, all across Nigeria. A driver is not a luxury. So you get a driver, you need a house help. Are unique. We're very unique. We're seen as the homemakers. We're seen as the helpmeets. We're the mothers. We look after our aged parents, and all on top of it, we look child, as I like to say, and then we still have to build our careers. You know, so for me, work-life balance. Honey, he's my biggest supporter. He's my backbone. He's my everything. He allows me to be all that I can be, and it's so important for women. The man or the spouse that you have can make or break your career.
You know, these things always sound, but it really must be, it can be overwhelming for some people. So as we wind down, my last question this session would be, to impart something to that woman who
Yeah.
finding it a bit overwhelming. Start immediately to accelerate their own growth.
One of the things that helped me was recognizing that I didn't have all the tools and all the skills that I needed. Again, I keep saying it, you can't do it on your own. I got a coach. I've mentioned her name here today, Emily Waller-Koya. She helped me put my brand in a way that it would be attractive to enable me get my message out. And I'm telling women, you have to invest in yourself. Yes, it costs money, but you are worth it. Ladies, you are worth it. Invest in yourself. Don't always wait for your organization to sponsor you to programs. So personal branding is invaluable. That is, it goes alongside with visibility. It's invaluable. My second lesson is always have a plan. In my book, I use the analogy of a man building a house, and he doesn't engage an architect or anything, and he's building a house. Or someone going on a journey, and they don't determine the destination before they set out. So you don't know whether you should take an umbrella. You don't know whether you should take. You won't even know when you get there. Do you understand? Or you may get there and you're in Alaska and you have sunshades and a sun hat. And then the third lesson is to believe in yourself. Believe in yourself. Believe that you can do it. Imposter syndrome is something that I struggle with, and I know so many powerful women, have the same issue. Most women do. But what I do to help myself is that I have what I call a victory log. And in that victory log, I write down everything positive that happens to me. If I win a new case, I write it. If I get commended, I write it. If my child passes exams, I write it. You understand? So at those times when that little voice is telling you that you're not good enough, pull out your victory log, and say, I'm the one that this, and I'm the one that that, and I'm the one that that, and you just get that boost that you need.
So there you have it, ladies. Now let's not forget that this is a book launch and it's the unveiling of the blueprint, particularly for women. As a guy, I can tell you that there are lessons in the book that you can learn as a guy. Flash it on the screen. You're also going to have an opportunity Okay, so stick around, don't be in a hurry. Because this box is packed. Someone's got to win it. And we hope that as we're done today, you're going to get your copies and you're going to find it and as rewarding those who had the opportunity to have reported so far. Thank you so very much.
Okay, thank you, Chico.
Uno, over to you.
Fortunately, we didn't hear Chico very well, but yeah, so you have to like take off Chi. Are you guys still there? What's going to be Uloma is on.
Baby, I never show. She did loro, my show, I show loro much. You know, come back so. Don't give me fast so much, you dance so. Scatter when I sing my song. Mr. Money, that yo, I'm with my puller. And my phone, me, that yo. Gucci, Louis, Boda designer. Who get from the China? But I just love me, you know, shut up, find out. Aqua, basket, white.
Activity, and I hope this has also been an event worth your while. At least I saw some of your emojis going up from time to time. Thank you very much, Her Excellency. We really appreciate you. Okay, so Chico, thank you. Unfortunately, the sound was not too good, so we couldn't hear your questions, but we heard all the answers loud and clear from Chi. And yeah, guys, we call her Chi back home. You know, I should really just call her Chinyere since this is her professional space. So Chinyere, thank you very much. We heard you, and we heard the passion, we heard the reason why, and you've had such an awesome career, and the experiences that have motivated you to do this, we understand. And yes, honey, we thank you also for having stood by. You are amazing. She talks about the support she gets from you all the time, and that's a beautiful thing. Okay, so without any further ado, we are getting into the book launch proper. So you could say that effectively, we have pretty much come to the end of the career conference-ish, all right? Somehow they're all intertwined, the book launch and the career conference. You notice that throughout the career conference, we kept referring to the book. And now that it's the book, it's because we're in the career conference. So it's really pretty much a nice marriage of two themes. So if you guys are ready, I'm hoping that you're queued for the revealing of the book. Can somebody tell me something? I just want to be sure you're in place because Her Excellency is already on. This is really the end, guys. So please just hang with us. We're almost there. You've been an amazing audience. I've been following on both YouTube and on Zoom, and it's been amazing the amount of interactivity that has been coming through. It's just so good. It's just so good. So I'm going to just wait to be queued in to be sure that the reveal is in place and that the cameras are pointing in that direction, so that I can welcome the First Lady back. How are we doing? Okay. Now, I don't know about you guys, but this has been a thrilling afternoon for me here. And there's so much learning that has happened. It's amazing how well this has come together, seeing that we are all at different time zones and different locations, and people of different types of backgrounds and so on. But somehow the theme kind of tied us all together, because these are real issues that we face on our career journeys, on our lives as women. And it's important to see what others are doing. It's just to encourage us, therefore, to do the same and to call on others as we're embarking on these journeys, to make sure that we're all investing where others invested in us. What Chinyere has done is a major investment, not just in the fact of knowing how to ford this stream of the career development and career ladder and so on, but it's about what she's leaving behind, the legacy that is being left behind. I made a comment earlier, I think about 2 weeks ago, when she asked for video comments, and I said, I wish I knew even a third of some of the things that are in this book. If I had known at least a third of some of the things that were in this book when I was about 25, I would have been unstoppable, totally unstoppable, because we were just meandering through, as it were. You just wake up one day and it's this new problem, it's this new problem. It's this person who is, not, there are situations where some of the things that have been discussed today were real life issues. You're in a room and you're asking yourself, oh, how come I'm here? I was, for instance, general manager in Tequila Direct. And that meant that I was pretty much working in the holdings group with men. So we would go for these, what do they call them, strategy sessions and things like that. And all those presentations are being done by these very, serious men with all the things that men come with, and they would, they'll just make you kind of feel a bit outnumbered, if you know what I mean, and even when you don't want to have the imposter syndrome, you find that you do, because it's a reality. It's actually, they're a bit overbearing, as it were, So those are the types of, I didn't even know anybody else was going through things like that. And if I had known then, maybe things would have been different. That's really the point I'm making. Okay, so we're here. And we are now going to reintroduce the First Lady, who has been very gracious and has been here and has been waiting to be able to properly unveil the book, and make some comments. And this is, let me just be sure she's here. She was here a minute ago.
I'm here.
Oh, there you go. Her Excellency, we thank you again. We thank you for waiting. And like I said, off camera-ish, I hope this has also been of value to you. Okay. So without wasting any more time, guys, I would like to remind us again that what we have here, by the way of the First Lady, is Her Excellency Chief Barrister Chioma D. Uzodimma. She is the First Lady of Imo State, a distinguished legal practitioner and founder of the Good Hope Women Flourish Initiative, GHWFI, advancing women's empowerment, healthcare, education, and social inclusion. So you can see that this is another person who has understood the need to invest in the future. Then she is a national leader in cancer advocacy, serving as chairperson of First Ladies Against Cancer, FLAC, and holding several strategic roles under Nigeria's National Cancer Control Program. That's very good. Well done, ma'am. Widely recognized for her humanitarian service and commitment to improving the lives of women, children, and vulnerable communities. So we are not surprised that she is here with us, because I think Heels and Ladders and everything that she is doing with it, both the book and the initiative and the training and so on, totally get boxes ticked for our First Lady who's here with us. So, Madam, you're welcome. Please go ahead and unmute yourself. You have the floor. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Udoma. Thank you so much, everyone. This has been such a learning experience for me, and I hope it's been same for every one of us here. You know, there are books that inform us and there are books that transform. A book that transforms does not merely transfer knowledge, it repositions the reader, and it shifts how you see your own potential and how you navigate the space that you occupy and how you claim the space you've not yet entered. It is my sincere belief that Heels and Ladders, a career acceleration handbook for female professionals, is precisely that book. Ms. Chinyere Okoracha has done something that demands both courage and clarity. She has taken the lessons of her own professional journey, the ascents, the setbacks, the pivots, and the breakthroughs, and she has distilled them into a practical guide for the woman who is still finding her footing. This is not an abstract inspiration. This is a handbook, a tool, and tools in the right hands change outcomes. To every woman who will read this book, you'll find in its pages not a shortcut, but a compass, not a guarantee, but a guide. And sometimes a guide is all the difference between a woman who almost made it and a woman who did. So it is with great pride and with warmest congratulations to Mrs. Chinyere Okoracha that I now invite us to witness the official public unveiling and launch of Heels and Ladders, a career acceleration handbook for female professionals. May it travel far, may it open doors, and companion many women on the journey to where they are meant to be. On behalf of the women and girls of Imo State, I will be buying 100 copies of the books to encourage and support her and the other young girls who are coming behind us. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, fam. Woo! Are you guys quiet? That was so good to hear. Thank you so much, Her Excellency. We love that. We love that. But please don't go away, because I want you to do the countdown just so that the unveiling will happen. I'm not sure. Are you guys ready? Because I'm actually working blind here.
I need to run. I have another engagement and I'm so late.
Oh, you do? Okay. All right, then. I guess we will have to carry on because I'm not... Chico, okay. Okay, we're ready. Okay, it's just a countdown from 10, please.
Okay.
From 10 to 0, all right?
So are we ready?
Yes, we are ready.
Please, let's count down together. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
0.
Congratulations.
I know there's a bit of a delay from the other side, but
thank you.
Okay. Did it happen? Because you guys, we lost the camera view.
I think it did.
Thank you. Hugs.
Excellent.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
very
I
much,
have to
madam.
run now. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
God bless you.
God bless you.
Thank you.
My
Bye.
mic on.
Have a
You
fantastic
too.
My
day.
mic needs to be
Oh,
on.
yay! This was so good.
I can't keep calm. I have to shout. I want to scream. I want to scream, please.
This was so good.
Yeah.
This was so good. All right, so I'll be handing back over now, I think, to Chinyere, who would love to give a thank you vote of thanks and so on, and then she will also arrange the photographs and so on. She will also tell us everything else that we need to know about where to find the book, about all the programs that have been designed and where to access them from. And basically, this is really, here is to the beginning of the life of Heels and Ladders. Congratulations, Chi.
Thank
we
you.
totally are so proud
Thanks,
of you.
Ula.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, ladies. Her Excellence, Your Excellency, I am so touched that you stayed and you did this unveiling. You've been here from the beginning. I'm so grateful, Your Excellency.
I hope
Thank you.
we'll be able to see Chi.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank
yeah,
you.
there
Thank you. Thank you. I also want to say a huge thank you to Mrs. Bola Deshola. Thank you so much, ma. The nuggets that you shared are unbelievable. I could write a book about it. I want to thank each and every one of the speakers, from Uzo to Chizo to Cynthia to Emily to help me, I'm drawing a blank, to Dr. Alex. Thank you. I've called Uzo. Who have I missed? I've missed someone.
Stella, you missed out Stella.
Stella, Okuzu, thank you. I hope I've mentioned everybody. I have mentioned Cynthia.
Hadiza.
I'm so grateful. Uzo, Chizo, Cynthia, Stella, Coach Emily, as I like to call her, Amaka, who did the poem, Uganze, I am so grateful, and Olo, who is the compare for the day, par excellence. I am so grateful, everybody. So I want to tell you a little bit about the Heels and Ladders movement, the community that we have. So of course, as you know, it's a community called the Heels and Ladders Career Mentorship Club. And guess what? If you registered for this event and you joined the WhatsApp group, you are automatically in the community. Over 1,400 of you registered. Just let us know and we'll put you in. I also want to talk about some of the other products I have that I've developed through the 35 years of my career. So I started with the Career Acceleration Mentorship course, which is a 6-week course that runs you through some of the challenges I feel women have and the solutions to them. The chapters are also in the book, but this is a virtual course that you can join, and it runs for 6 weeks, and every week you get to sit with me and, you know, we really do a, postmortem on your career and try and see where we can plug the gaps. Mind you, this course at the moment involves coaching from me weekly during the course. However, this is the last time that the CAM course, as I call it, Career Acceleration Mentorship course, will run as a virtual plus coaching course. So best catch it this time around. There'll be one more cohort this year. And then from next year, the format will change completely, and it will not include coaching. So if you're interested in sitting down in a room with me to try and tackle the issues or challenges you may be having in your career, this is your chance. This is your chance. So I also want to talk about the book, the Heels and Ladders Career Acceleration book. I've got, just for today and just for this launch and for everybody who is here, we're running some bundles. So there are different bundle opportunities, and I shall take my time to let you know exactly what they are. The first collection is the Rise collection. So this Rise collection includes a signed paperback from yours truly, and of course, a Heels and Ladders Success Workbook. So in that workbook, the exercises you can do that will help you to scale in your career. The cost of the book, 19,500 Naira, but the success manual is 15,000, but you're getting both for 34,000. So that is 19,500 and 15,000. The total value would have been 34,500, but you're just getting it for 19,500. I believe they're showing the account number on the screen. If they're not, if you go to www.chinyeokorocha.com, you can access the book. It's also found at Laterna Books in Lagos, Nigeria. It's also on Seller. And for those of you who are international, the book is also available on Amazon. Like Uloma mentioned, she got her copy on Amazon. I know Stella did too. And a couple of, most of the speakers are out of the country. So they all were able to access the book on Amazon. Now, the second collection that we have available is the Career Accelerator Collection. So this one is, you just read it, you just don't read it, you implement it. And it's for women's groups, professional associations, churches, book clubs, mentors, managers who want to bless other women. It includes 10 signed copies, paperback of the book, and 10 digital copies of the Career Success Workbook. And I'll throw in access for one person to the final live Career Acceleration Mentorship course. So this one is loaded. This one is loaded. The real value of all this is actually 840,000 Naira. So 10 paperback books would have been 195. The final live cam is at 395. 10 career workbooks is 150K, and the discussion toolkit is 100K. That is 840,000. That's what it would have been. However, the launch weekend price is just 595,000 Naira. So grab your copy. You can put an indication in the chat box, and a member of my team will grab your details immediately and tell you how you can access the offer. And then the third collection is the Executive Leadership Collection. So this one is only open to just 10 executive leaders. Senior executives, that's who it's for, C-suite leaders, founders, business owners, directors, and women who are preparing for board leadership. So it includes 20 signed hard cover books. Can I have 2 copies of the book, 1 hard copy and 1 soft copy, please? An exclusive executive leadership roundtable with me, and a private strategy session where I will coach a group of executive women who will be discussing leadership, influence, executive presence, legacy. You know it. So, the value for the books, again, we have a discount on that. And we also have another category that is about 2.5 million. And then we can do custom orders. I hope that the team is putting the links in the chat. I sincerely hope we're putting the links in the chat. Please indicate your interest. I believe I have been told that if you buy the book, you do a screenshot of the of the, what is it, deposit slip, and you send it to the number that has been indicated. Yes, thank you. And so there you have it, ladies. And if you just want to buy one copy of the book, the original paperback is 19,500 and the hardback copy is 27,500. I mean, my heart is full of gratitude for what has been an amazing day. I can't thank you enough, all my speakers, all these powerful women who have been with me today. I want to personally again thank the First Lady who has offered to buy 100 copies of the book. I am so excited that the women in Imo State, where I'm from, will be impacted by this wonderful offer. So at this point, I'm going to hand back to Ulo to do the final closing as I bow out.
Oh, this is so beautiful. This is so beautiful. You know, Heels and Ladders is a conglomerate. You know, we started off thinking it was a book, but it's so much more than that. And I actually am scared on behalf of Chinyere about what else it's going to mutate into. But scared in a good way, if you know what I mean. I'm scared in a good way because it has the legs of something that can become anything. And we definitely have the right person behind it, you know. So thanks again, Chinyere. Thanks for bringing yourself forward to do this, because this is your retirement plan right there, if you know what I mean. You know, well done, well done. We're loving this. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, you guys have been absolutely fantastic. You know, I didn't think that everybody would stay this long. I kept asking Chief if you're sure she would keep everybody for that long, but I guess she knew what she had, you know, and it's amazing that you guys have all been able to do that. We really, I reiterate the gratitude to the First Lady of Imo State, Her Excellency Barrister Chioma Uzodimma, who has stayed all through, and she opened and she actually did also officiate the unveiling of the book. Thank you very much, Her Excellency. We are very, very grateful. And I would also like to thank every single person that was on the panel. But I would like to start, of course, by thanking Mrs. Bola Adeshola, who was a fantastic keynote speaker. If I knew what she was going to talk about, I would have recorded it myself for myself, you know, and she was amazing. And you could see that she was talking from experience. She was talking about things that she has gone through, and it's always a lot more effective when somebody's talking to you from the point of experience, you know. I did tell you when I was introducing her that she used to scare me a little when we were both at the LBS Executive Council together, because she was so capable, and she still is, obviously. Thank you very much, Mrs. Bola Adeshola. That was really, really beautiful to have you here. I would like to thank every single person who was on our panels today. I would like to thank Dr. Chizo Malize, Dr. Alex Okoroji, Emily Wale Koya, Uzamaka Oshogwe, Stella Okuzu, and our lovable Cynthia, all the way from Côte d'Ivoire. Thank you so much for making yourselves available. On behalf of Chinyere, I'd like to say thank you. You guys added so much value and color and depth to this program, and we are not in any way going to make it seem like it is any less than it was. Chico, we thank you. Amaka, we thank you. Oganze, we say thank you. Thank you for making yourselves available. You guys are just amazing people. I am, and you know, I am just amazed at how much this program has covered. You know, there's a lot that was put into it, and it's obvious that that was well done. Yeah, we had a few glitches, technical glitches. That happens everywhere, you know, but it didn't take away from the brilliance that came through. This was a well manicured program, a well manicured program. program, I'd say. So thank you very much. It's given me a lot of pleasure. My name is Uloma Umeano. I'm CEO Centric Culture, Canada, Nigeria, wherever you want me, I'm there. So those are, you know, my and it's been such a blessing to be a part of this. Thank you very much, Coach Emily. Thank you for the work that you did with her and on her and for her. She talks about you a lot. Thank you so much. Thank you, guys. This is really the end of it. Congratulations again, Chinyere. Bye, everyone.
Bye. Bye, Uloma. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Bye, everyone.